I know you've had multiple abortions.
Yo, what's up with Buddy? Fuck Ruby. Fuck Jodi. Now it's fuck Kevin. This started off with YouTube family vlogging. I just want to pinpoint that point right there. This started off with YouTube family vlogging. This video is brought to you by Sebastine's Patreon. Not only is this page packed with exclusive videos, 800 plus at the time of this recording to be exact, but it also comes with a couple tiers. If you'd want to subscribe and support this growing community, click the link in the description below, and thank you for everything. Now, let's get back to the video. Happy Mother's Day Eve, everybody. I'm going to a brunch, and why don't we start the day off with some another episode of the Ruby Franke series. This is an about a boom and about a bing, and this one is about that Jodi woman. So ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's do it. We got ourselves a something hour long joint, and we about to check it out. So let's go. About a boom and about a bing. Let's go.
Have something that they want.
What?
And ever since
How you not gonna start from the beginning?
Bada bing, bada boom.
Let's go.
they say that spirits all have something that they want. And ever since Jodi Hildebrandt moved into the Franke house.
Oh shit! You gonna start it off? You gonna start it off with this devilish face? All right. Do y'all believe in spirits? Y'all believe in what she just said? I do.
Told just weird things have been happening. People are hearing footsteps inside of the walls. That's what it sounds like.
Oh,
it's
hell
hard
no.
to explain, but it sounds as if someone is inside of the wall just walking around through the walls.
Oh no.
The Frankies obviously
Hell
didn't
no.
check inside the wall, but it's starting to freak some of them out. Whatever it is, it feels like Jodi brought it into the house with her.
Bro, I'm not gonna hold you. Y'all ever like feel a certain type of feeling, but it's like you feel like there's something there, but it's not there. Like I don't know what it is. Like, you know how like in that corner right there, you'll say, some people say like, oh, if it's like dark in that corner when it's like nighttime, it's like a spirit there or some shit like that. Or if you just like feel a presence and you like home alone. That's why I stay prayed up, my boy. Ain't don't bring no nasty spirits in my shit.
Whatever these spirits are. And now she's sitting on the bathroom floor while the dad, Kevin Franke, is shoving a camera in her face, documenting this allegedly torturous situation, while Kevin's wife Ruby is sitting next to this middle-aged Jodi Hildebrandt holding her so that Jodi doesn't accidentally harm herself. This happens maybe once a day, maybe a few
Once a day? Once a day?
times a day. It's like another being just enters Jodi Hildebrandt's body and starts controlling her movements. And it's so easy to tell because immediately Jodi Hildebrandt's eyes get pinched closed and she starts breathing heavily. She looks like she's in pain. She looks perhaps even constipated.
Oh no.
Today she's on the floor with her hands fisted into balls and she's slamming it down onto her chest.
What?
Ruby is gently trying to stop her, but nothing's really working. By this point, they've tried everything. I mean, Kevin was known as the resident exorcist for a minute, trying to cleanse Jodi of whatever evil spirits are following her around.
Fuck you know about some exercising?
He says, I would place my hands on her head, and then I would command the demons to depart. And then I would state every name of Jesus Christ that I could possibly think of, and those evil spirits were very reactive to those names. It became very clear. The minute he would start saying those names, Jodi would thrash and hiss and wail and growl at people.
Hey, bro, yo. What in the world? This started off with YouTube family vlogging. I just want to pinpoint that point right there. This started off with YouTube family vlogging.
It was like she was being hurt every time Kevin said one of those names. What is it that the spirits even want? It doesn't make sense. Why Jodi Hildebrandt? Jodi lays there. Her eyebrows are crunched up in pain. And this new voice comes out. And it comes out like a deep, aggressive voice.
You gotta get the fuck out the house. No, we not doing this. No, you gotta get out. You have to get out. I'm trying to get the benefit of the doubt, but I don't play with no demons, gang. I don't play with none of that. I don't play with none of that. I'm good with guardian angels and like the nice angels and the spirit. I don't know. Ain't nobody yours. Actually, you know what? If I'm Kevin, fuck it, take her. Go ahead, take her. Shit. Oh, fuck all that. Ruby don't like me anyway.
What did she just say? She's mine. She's mine. She knows. I own her.
See, I would me. I kind of like am very aware of myself. As soon as somebody says that, I say, "What the fuck did you just say?" Say it again. What the fuck did you just say? What?
She knows.
Yeah.
I own her.
Oh. Sound like she pooping.
These are all recorded.
Yeah. Who is she that Jodi Hildebrandt is talking about? What does she want to do with her? Perhaps she's talking about Ruby Franke. Maybe she wants Ruby Franke to be hers. And maybe she's going to do everything in her power to make sure that she is hers.
What?
This is the case of Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt, the therapist and the YouTuber that were arrested for child abuse for holding 2 kids captive in the basement and torturing them.
Bruh, man, this was not some of the stuff that I saw on this Hulu doc. It just gets crazier and crazier, man. This started off with YouTube vlogging. Who would have known? They need to sign a bill to protect these kids, bro. You need a kid protection bill, because what the fuck is this?
Thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to directly support a survivor, Jodi Hildebrandt, who endured abuse at the hands of their aunt, Jodi Hildebrandt.
Oh my goodness.
Their information will be in the show notes if you'd like to share your support as well.
Okay.
This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team, and we would like to thank you guys for your continued support. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. Today's case involves some very well-known names in the family vlogging world. Ruby and Kevin Franke, plus their 6 children, best known as their channel name, 8 Passengers. All the minors in today's case have been protected and will simply be referred to as either boy, girl, or just their first initial. We will be using the names of the 2 eldest children, Sherry and Chad. They are of legal age. They've publicly spoken out about Ruby and Jodi. And
did y'all peep that Chad got like a podcast now? I peeped, like, he got like I don't know I forgot what it's called, but I saw a thumbnail about it.
Additionally, Sherry recently published a book that I read, and like I said, you need to get 10 copies of this because no coverage of any news station, any documentary even compares to the truly visceral way. It's like such a vulnerable way that Sherry is able to convey her feelings about everything that's happened. And she does it without, there's so many points where it's very depressing to read, but ultimately the amount that she's shown to have grown from this is inspiring and incredible. It's one of those books that I think we will all be thinking about 2 days after reading it, 2 weeks, 2 months, and even 2 years down the line. Also, I believe she narrated the book herself. So if you're more into audiobooks, that would be a great way to listen. As for content warnings, there are descriptions of food restriction, child abuse, CSA, religious abuse, therapy abuse, as well as just overall
Therapy abuse is, oh my gosh.
abuse and torture in general. Now, side note, there is going to be a lot of conversation about the LDS Church in these episodes. Ruby and Jodi were devout members of the LDS Church, or at least they claim or they thought they were. But they should not be used as representations of what the faith means or how it should be practiced. We are also not here to discuss the LDS Church or faith as a whole. I personally don't have much experience, but like with any religion, there's going to be bad people that do bad things, and sometimes, if the establishment protects them, I do think that there should be consequences for all those parties involved as well. With that being said, this was originally supposed to be a 3-part series, but with the addition of Ruby's personal journals detailing the torture, Kevin's claims that he did not know the kids were being abused.
Hold on, you are their dad. You are their father. Unless she is telling you that unless Ruby is literally putting all of her might to not let you see the kids or contact the kids, it is your job to figure out what the fuck is going on with your kids. Because you are their dad. What do you mean you didn't know that they were being abused? You were a liar. You were literally there when you were trying to conjure up a plan to take, like, what? What do you mean? You saw that bullshit place that she was putting all them kids at the table? You ain't see not one chicken thigh, some green beans, no type of color in the food. It was just lean cuisine, Hot Pockets and shit. All that money you was getting, it is your job to make sure your kids are taken care of. The fuck? Like, what? I don't even care. Did he get arrested or anything? I don't know. As a man, nigga, take care of your fucking kids. Like, what? Like, come on, dog.
As well as just all the online conspiracies discourse. There's another woman that a lot of people want to be arrested in connection with Jodi and Ruby. This is like the Three Musketeers, and people online are saying you've only arrested 2 of the Three Musketeers. So there's a lot of discourse there. Now this is going to be part 2 of the now 4-part series. Right. Please go watch part 1 if you haven't already, and that's in depth onto Ruby Franke's YouTube career, the channel 8 Passengers, how they go from making millions of dollars to just being canceled for suspected child neglect, and all of the video proof that Ruby Franke is a pretty horrible mom. In this part, we will be going over Jodi Hildebrandt
and also, see, instead of going towards Jodi before we start talking about Jodi, nigga, ain't you working at BYU? And you mean to tell me that nobody in your class is telling you, hey, this is what's going on about your life? Like, ain't nothing going. You not hearing a peep or nothing. No screaming, like you don't hear none of that, and you're trying to tell me you was in the house. You was in the house. You telling me you was just stone cold faced while your kids was getting tortured, bro? Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, what? You was in that before Jodi was even there, and I still think Jodi been there for a long time, but until I turn otherwise. But come on, bro. See, when we get to your little confession or whatever you talking about, I'm on your ass, buddy. I'm on your ass. And I'm open to being wrong, but right now I'm on your ass. Because I saw you. I saw you in them videos. I saw you. So unless everything in the power of Ruby and Jodi and the demon inside of Jodi is stopping you from seeing your kids, you need to try, dude. You need to try. Because what the hell?
She likes to force divorces as a so-called marriage counselor, and how she likes to ruin people's lives. In part 3, we go over the tour house that is her $5 million mansion in the middle of nowhere. And in part 4, we will go over all of the online conspiracies, as well as the prison calls, how passionate netizens have been that something needs to happen to both Kevin Franke and Pam.
Pam? Who the fuck is Pam? Pam from like The Office? Pam from Martin? Who was Pam?
It's a woman named Pam.
Who the
So with that being said, let's get started.
Who's Pam?
Do you think that you can pinpoint when exactly you made the worst decision of your life?
It depends on what it is. It depends on what it is. Mine was when I like gained a lot of weight. It was me drinking all them sodas. That's where it is.
Because marriage counseling is ruining Adam Paul Steed's entire life, including his marriage. Not even in the marriage counselor is biased and she keeps siding with my wife that a lot of husbands like to argue. It is so much worse than that. Marriage counseling will kickstart a chain of events that has Adam kicked out of college, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, hated by every single person he knows, and in jail.
What?
He's holding his little daughter in his arms when the officers arrive. This is a protective order. We're going to have to take your child. The little girl starts screaming, "Daddy, no, Daddy, no." And the authorities, they more or less just rip her from Adam's arms.
See, this is where I'm like, all right, Kevin, if something like this happens, then you get a little bit of a pass. Still contact your kids though. At least try. Just try. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if a lot of people know, the mom has a lot of power over kids. If she say that you doing something to them kids, they will go and get them kids and rip them out of your hands. It's a lot. It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? But still, okay? I'm still on that. All right?
He has no clue what the hell is happening right now. In exchange for his child being taken from him, Adam is now branded the most evil person in the entire campus of BYU in Utah.
How old is Adam?
He's in his early 20s. He's a college student.
Oh, shit.
Okay, and the kid is?
1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now if you see him on campus, it's like seeing Satan himself just walking casually through the corridors. He's evil. You know, he's got like a 500-page honor code file in his name.
What?
Okay, side note. BYU is a religious institution. So while a lot of institutions, they have honor code offices, they're typically for policing the academic integrity of students. Whereas BYU, you could basically start a file for your roommate if you caught them watching.
Grooming standards? Oh my gosh. Wait, BYU is a... Really? I didn't know that. Oh, wow. Interesting. I only knew that BYU existed because of like March Madness and like football, and I see them play teams. I didn't know that. Interesting.
Thirst traps, or if you catch them secretly drinking coffee, because
What?
BYU is sponsored by the LDS Church. The honor code includes behavioral standards established by the church, like caffeine intake. There's not a single drop of tea or coffee that you're going to find on the entire campus.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Damn. And I just started liking coffee. Dang.
Yeah.
So what do you drink? Energy drink?
Water?
No, you can't even drink energy drinks. They love soda. Yeah, that's why soda shops are a big thing in Utah.
Interesting.
Like sugar? Just sugar
Yeah,
highs?
just straight sugar, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Adam's file is now 500 pages long.
That's crazy.
The notes on his file are dated. There are detailed notes of phone conversations between the honor code office and witnesses that are calling in to explain Adam is too predatory to be left in this university.
Yo, what?
Which is a very bold statement to make. I mean, they're saying that the longer that he's a student here, the more people are in active danger.
What?
Adam and his wife, let's call her Mary, that's not her real name. She's also a student at the university. The two of them, they have a 1-year-old daughter and another baby on the way. And Mary is actually the one that starts the honor code file in her husband's name, Adam.
What?
She walks in one day and she reports that Adam, her husband, is delusional. He is controlling. He has violent tendencies. She tells the honor code office that she's concerned about her husband taking baths with their young daughter.
Oh.
She says it's because he's a victim of sexual abuse when he was a kid. He does not have a healthy understanding of boundaries. Again, this is what she's saying. And one time, he asked that I take the baby out of the tub. They're taking a bath together. I take the baby out of the tub, and he was trying to hide his erection. That's what Mary is claiming.
Whoa, bro. Oh, my gosh.
She said from then on, she had to be in the bathroom at any given time that Adam was alone with any of the kids.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that's like normal to have the mom in the bathroom too. I don't know. As you can see, I'm not a parent, so bro, what?
And Mary is just scared of him now. And it's not even just Mary that Adam is scaring. Mary claims that she has this marriage counselor, a therapist. And Adam is threatening the therapist too. Like they're both terrified of Adam. Naturally, the honor code office, they want to talk to the therapist. And she's an open book. She tells them, well, listen, Adam and Mary came in for marriage counseling, and it was very clear from the get-go. I mean, due to Adam's behaviors, it was just going to go downhill. The file reads, the therapist advised and explained that Mary wanted marriage help. At first, the story was a common theme of a wife struggling to understand her husband's problems with self-pleasure and porn consumption. However, the therapist quickly became alarmed because Mary had been convinced that by Adam, that whatever Adam was doing was not anything wrong, that this is just the way that men behave.
Women watch corn too, so let's not say it's just a man thing. Yes, majority, it's known that men like to goon. Women do that shit too.
The therapist states she believes Adam is manic, and with the encouragement of therapy, Mary has been trying to set boundaries and be more assertive with herself in the relationship. And Mary had, quote, began to waken up to what was acceptable behavior and how confused she had been and how off track Adam has been. The therapist is explaining to the honor code officer, I mean, Adam is masterful at keeping Mary in this constant state of confusion. The notes continue. The therapist explained that Mary felt too threatened to comprehend or connect with the seriousness of some situations. But once Mary started putting in boundaries, Adam did not like that. Ooh. And that's putting it mildly. The therapist states he's psychologically unstable. He has an intense delusional fixation on me, the therapist, and he keeps saying that I'm the Antichrist. Which sounds alarming, right? And he's violent.
That's insane. Like going straight to the Antichrist, I mean, in hindsight, but in the moment, it's like, what the fuck? What do you mean by what? What are you talking about?
The therapist strongly asserts that she's just scared that the two of them have kids at home. One example that the therapist gives to the Honor Code office is that Adam held their infant daughter over the 3rd floor balcony, and he was just giggling. He was like, oh, holding you over the 3rd floor balcony.
What?
Haha. He thought it was a funny joke.
The fuck?
The therapist claims she would not be surprised if he does anything drastic to Mary or the kids so that they don't leave him. He is just so extremely manipulative, pathological, narcissistic, and dangerous.
Damn, just spamming them buzzwords. Oh my goodness.
The therapist explains that out of all of her years treating thousands of married couples, I've never been terrified of a client until Adam.
Really?
There was this one instance where they were both in my office and I was so physically threatened by him, I had to position myself between him and the door so that I could make a hasty escape if I needed to. This was the first time in all the years that I've been a therapist that I've ever had to do that. She goes on to allege that not only has Adam Paulsteed essayed his own wife, but also their 1-year-old daughter. She states confidently with her whole chest, Adam is the most dangerous person that I have ever met in my life. He is very clearly a predator.
What the fuck?
And
that's what
therapist's name is Jodi Hildebrandt. When Adam first looks into Jodi, his potential new marriage therapist, he does like a quick Google search on her just to see what's going on. She is one of the most recommended therapists in the Wasatch Front of the Mormon Church for like the past 20 years, honestly.
Damn.
Wow.
Her website sounds good. It says, my style is compassionate yet direct and clear of what is necessary to fully change and champion any addictive or self-destructive behavior, whether it be ravenous addictions, feelings of inadequacy, conflicts in relationships, intimacy problems, communications and breakdowns, and frankly, block anything that prevents having and creating peace and joy. At the bottom of her website, the banner reads, what you do is not who you are. I don't even know what that means. Her resume on paper seems great. Bachelor's in English.
I think what you do is not who you are. I think that means like you're just because you do something fucked up doesn't mean you're fucked up. I guess that's for like the first time you do a fuck up, but if you just keep doing it, it's like
graduate work in educational psychology, earned a master's degree. Then she worked at Cirque Lodge, which is a nationally known drug and alcohol treatment center, which is frequently visited by celebrities. It's expensive. It can range from $30,000 to $100,000 to get treated for 1 month. 1 month. And Jodi would not stop talking about it. She claims that she treated Paris Hilton, not for drugs, but for bad behavior at the school the camp, if you will, that Paris Hilton was sent to that was terrible.
Shit.
She was there, working there?
Yeah, that's what she claims. Now, Adam did think that it was a little strange how little she cared to protect clients' information, but maybe it's because Paris Hilton's personal life has been all over the tabloids since...
Isn't that not bad confidentiality? She's just telling people business and shit? Like, what the fuck? Ain't that like a red flag? Excuse me.
Forever, so it's not actually breaking any patient protection laws. It is weird, though. And Adam did think it was weird.
What?
Besides, it's fine because Adam and Mary, they're going in for marriage counseling. They've been married for 2 years when they're recommended by a church bishop to go see Jodi. The church bishop is like, oh, that's a good one. Adam says, Jodi was very charismatic right off the bat. Mary's instantly obsessed. She's really happy that she's working on herself. And Adam was just excited for his wife because he thinks maybe Jodi is a good fit. She's firm, but she seems very wise in a fun way. She doesn't mind laughing and making jokes so that the message gets delivered.
That's how she gets you.
For a church-recommended therapist, she doesn't seem like she takes herself too seriously, at least in the beginning. As for Adam's relationship and marriage itself, there's just a lot to work through. Just a lot.
Uh-oh.
They're trying to balance being new parents while also being college students. They have a 1-year-old. Mary is pregnant with their second. They're both students at BYU. They're both Mormon. But for Adam's wife, she's not even just religious. It's not, oh, church on Sundays. Her dad has a very high standing in the church. So there is pressure for them to be the best LDS church members out there, which naturally is not the healthiest. Adam says that whenever he Googled something, if he even saw for like 20 seconds, okay, maybe he Googled it. Maybe he Googled a naked woman's picture for 2 seconds. And if he looked at it for 2 seconds and he had a quick lustful thought about it, he would call his wife and apologize profusely. Like you would think that he met another woman at Motel 6.
Damn. Okay. All right. Okay.
He's saying, I feel terrible. What I did was terrible. This is terrible. It probably doesn't help that Adam's entire start to their marriage is just rough. All of Mary's family members hate Adam.
All right.
They were against this marriage to begin with from the get-go.
I just want to let people know, if you marry somebody, you are kind of marrying their family. So not everybody is able to run away from their family to be with you. You were still marrying into the family, maybe for a time being. So just when you're looking for that one, just be careful.
Adam was one of the biggest whistleblowers of the LDS church. And it's not that he turned against the faith. He's like a devout LDS member, even at that point. He was assaulted by a higher up in the LDS church when he was a child.
Oh,
he was
my
one of the first few victims to kickstart a decade-long chain of almost 93,000 victims.
93,000. Adam, I'm so sorry, cuz.
Who have come forward with essay claims against the Boy Scouts of America.
Wait, 93,000 victims?
Have come out against the Boy Scouts of America.
I heard about that.
Now, it gets very complicated because you're like, what does the Boy Scouts have to do with the LDS church? Adam was one of the first people to try and get some justice. So quick context. The LDS church was the largest sponsor of the Boy Scouts of America.
Really?
Scouting was considered a big part of the youth development in the church. So about 1 out of every 5 Boy Scouts were of the LDS faith. They were essentially sent by the church as part of their church youth activities.
Oh, shit.
Now, there are
That's
LDS
crazy.
higher-ups that also hold significant positions in the Boy Scouts executive board. If you are an Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts, which is like the top 5% ranking, it is a badge of honor at church. So they're 2 separate organizations, but not really. They're very merged together. Adam Paul Steed grew up in the LDS church. In fact, his dad works as a seminary teacher for the church. They're very serious. When he's 14, he goes to a Boy Scouts camp in Idaho where he is essayed by a scout leader, but who also happens to be an LDS church leader named Brad Stowell.
Ew.
After the essay at the camp, he tries to report it to the Boy Scouts leadership. They don't care. Adam
What?
straight up calls the police himself. He's like, come get this guy. He's very brave. He's 14. Now, Brad Stowell admits and confesses to molesting not just Adam, but 24 boys, and he pleads guilty.
He just touching little boys. What the fuck? Ew, bro.
He receives a dainty little 150-day jail sentence.
You give him 150 days in jail for touching 20-something kids. Why do people hate kids so much? Even to this day. Like, what is it? What is it? Like, genuinely, what is it? People hate children. Like, real shit. Like, what the fuck?
That's about a week per boy that he abused.
And he got
About a week. That's it. What kind of jail sentence is that? But how did he get away with essaying so many boys? Adam and his father, they go to the church higher ups to report the abuse because he's also a higher up church leader, Brad the abuser. I mean, he's not just a scout leader. He's heavily involved in the LDS church. He has a leadership position. So according to Adam, when he brings this to the church to report it, the church does practically everything to shut Adam up. Which, why? Because apparently, years prior to essaying Adam, Brad confessed to essaying a 6-year-old boy. His LDS bishop, church leader, sent him to, quote, counseling, and then later stated, "You are cured," and allowed him to keep working with children.
Hey, Slim, I'm not even going to hold you. I don't give a fuck what your religion or creed or whatever you call. If you're touching kids, you are evil. Why don't you have any conviction, you freaky fuck? And you over here preaching the word that's your word? Like, what? Like, what the fuck? I don't, ugh. That's crazy. And then you still get your job back? What is it? Why does the world hate children so much? Like honestly. It must be something into it that's probably out of my tax bracket and probably get me got if I even start asking questions about it. But that is some weird shit, bro. Like, that shit is odd.
I think with any massive organization, at least, I think religion is beautiful, but sometimes it can provide ways for people that should not be around children to be around children.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen anywhere in any religion. And I think in this situation, the chain of command, they all should be punished. I don't think that this is representative, hopefully, of the LDS Church as a whole, but this whole chain of command, whoever his bishop was, I was like, you are cured, is crazy as well.
My question is, when you go up to wherever your afterlife or whatever you preach, and you go up to your Lord and Savior or whoever you say it is, and you look your creator in the face or whatever, whatever, and you have to you look him in the face, even if you're allowed to look him in the face, and you actually think you finna get into some pearly gates after you did this? There's like a different type of audacity that humans have, bro. Cause that's crazy. I don't get that. I don't understand it, and I don't think I ever will. You over here touching kids, and you think when it's your time to go, you're gonna be up there like, yeah, I did what I needed to do. No, what, huh?
No, it's alleged that even after he was, quote, cured, there were more reports, more warning signs that people have reported, hey, this Brad guy is really creepy. But the Boy Scouts and the church, they ignore it. They even cover it up.
That's sick.
So when Adam and his dad, they try to get justice from the church because how do you let him still be around children? The church turns around and allegedly pushes the family out. They fire Adam's dad from the church as a seminar teacher, and they're just pushing this issue too much. They don't like it. They feel like if other victims come and seek help, it's just going to start getting messy.
Why don't we just like not molest children? I say this all the time. Prevention is better than the cure. Why not? Like, and the thing that's kind of killing me right now is that when a victim comes out to potentially be cured, you're going to get out what is in them to cure them. So why not do that for your organization and find the cure to your organization? You'd always think like everything is just a 1-2 punch, but it's like, it's like a teacher trying to tell you, how did you get 1 + 1 = 2? Show your work. It's like, bro, how the fuck? Why does it have to be so complicated?
Allegedly. And Adam, this little boy, instead of getting the support that he needs, he starts getting treated like a money-hungry liar.
What?
Like he is just out here to get money from this church that has about $1 billion. I think they're worth like $1 billion, the church, yeah. Adam and his dad do not give up. There's a lot of respect, honestly, for the two of them now in the LDS community and just everywhere else. Adam and his dad not only fight tooth and nail for justice, and they help other victims come forward, they fight to get laws passed. So this is an extension of the statute of limitations for SA victims in the state of Idaho. Prior, if a child was SA'd, they would have to report the abuse before their 23rd birthday.
That's very specific.
Adam's advocating, his dad is advocating, they get a law passed in Idaho that you can report it at any point in your life now.
Let's go. Okay.
There's no statute of limitations.
All right. Cool.
Which the LDS Church allegedly really hated.
You hate that people try to you hate it so much that people are trying to get you to be accountable for your nasty shit. That's weird. That is weird.
Really hate it. Just curious, why would you not like that?
Yeah, like
no
what?
accusations, just thoughts. Just kind of weird.
What?
Now, even though Adam is a victim of the abuser that belonged to the LDS Church, it appears nobody cared to help him. Nobody wanted to do anything.
Up.
The backlash to telling the truth, demanding justice, trying to get other victims to get help. His whole entire family has to relocate from Idaho to Utah because it was that bad. They were shunned.
That
is where Adam meets his future wife, Mary, at BYU.
Wait, so you telling me this nigga Adam went through this stuff in his childhood, got shunned from there, so then he comes here, and we don't know the full story, but he comes here, he meets Jodi, and this happens. What if them people in Idaho sent Jodi to just check up on him, to keep an eye on him? I don't know.
They get married. They have 2 kids now. And everyone is telling his wife, even before the marriage, that Adam is a terrible person.
Wait, so that's why they say that? Oh, hell no.
I mean, he did all of these weird, shady things to try and make money. The alleged church leader that tried to suppress Adam, President Hillam, he ran the whole Boise, Idaho temple. He was in a leadership position. He also was heavily involved with the leadership of the Boy Scouts. He did everything, allegedly, to cover up the abuse. Coincidentally, Hillam is very close friends with Mary's parents, who are also very high up in the church. So they're doing everything to try and prevent these 2 from getting married. When Adam heard that his fiance's family hated him, he said, I was depressed for a couple of days. Then I remember just being like triggered because I was a victim of child abuse. And I just remember thinking, I'm not. I mean, I don't have problems. I'm not like that. I'm a good person. And I remember some terrible moment. I went online and I looked at Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. And then I called my bishop and I went into this repentance process. I called my wife. I told her I wasn't worthy to get married.
Oh my God.
But nevertheless, the 2 get married. They have a 1-year-old, and now she's pregnant with their 2nd child, and their lives are about to get harder, so they need guidance. It is natural to seek help. It's admirable to seek help. They get referred to Jodi Hildebrandt, and that's when everything starts falling apart.
See, this is why I'm thinking they sent Jodi. They sent Jodi because if you move to another state and everybody got if everybody got well, say you move to a different state because of you're trying to get justice for something, and you move to this second state, coincidentally, the person that tried to get you that tried to cover up what's going on is good friends with the family of the girl that you're trying to marry, and then they send you to get guidance from someone who literally is known as from what I'm hearing is Jodi. That's like, okay. Not only do I not believe in coincidences for real, but this seems very calculated.
At first, the changes are really small, but Adam does notice it.
So Jodi likely knew Adam's history, like this whole thing.
Yes,
and she's involved with all these leaders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and she wasn't as involved with all these higher ups, but it's alleged that she saw Mary as a way to get even more influence in the LDS church.
Okay.
I see.
Adam says his wife would just confront him all the time, just out of nowhere, confronting him with abstract things, like very vague accusations. You're in self-denial about your own addiction. What does that even mean?
Self-denial about my own addiction. That means, okay, doesn't that mean like, oh, when someone's addicted to something, to say, I'm not addicted. I could quit whatever I want. Is that what's going on here?
Adam says, I just have a million questions. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. What addiction are we I was never diagnosed with any sort of addiction, nor was I actively struggling with one. Sure, he has PTSD from the abuse he suffered as a child, but what the hell is his wife on about? But Jodi starts telling them that everyone has an addiction. Every single person has an addiction. Whether it's food or reading the Book of Mormon too much. Yeah, you can do that apparently.
Really?
Every single person has an addiction. She's explaining to these marriage counseling classes that Adam and his wife are a part of that every action that you have comes from addiction.
Okay, so what's Mary's addiction? Because like I would really appreciate it in terms of like going to marriage counseling that we talk about both of us and not single out one person. It's just like, hey, what both do we have to do to make sure this union is good? I don't like the singling out stuff. I kind of don't.
It's rooted in addiction. Most of the time, you don't even know that. It is the cause of every action that you take. Are you jealous about your friend doing something? It's an addiction that's causing the jealousy. Are you gaining a few pounds on vacation because the food is delicious? No, it's actually an addiction.
No, it's not.
It may not be obvious at first, but that's what Jodi's here for, right? To get to the bottom of your addiction. For example, Jodi would teach if you have to spend time not thinking about something, like a picture of a naked person, The fact that you have to not think about that proves that you're an addict.
So if I can't stop thinking about how much I love my wife, that means I'm addicted to my wife. That's what's going on here. So like, do I have to cure all my addictions, or I should just be cognizant that everything that I do is a fucking addiction? What is the point of you telling me, oh, it's an addiction? Oh, you're addicted. Oh, you're addicted. Like, what is the
In other words, all this resistance of white knuckling not to think about the magazine on the aisle of the grocery store, the fact that you have to not think about it means you're a sex addict.
No, it doesn't.
She's talking about like Playboy magazine. She's not even talking about Hustler magazine.
Yeah, Hustler is completely worse. Oh my gosh.
Another huge belief that Jodi teaches her married couples is, from the beginning, Jodi tells every single married couple, relationships have to die so that it can be reborn again. It's like a
No, they don't. What is
resurrection.
What
How
the
do you do that?
Separation. It's the concept of only if your relationship dies, only then can it be reborn.
Why not like both of y'all go on like a trip by yourselves, or go on a girls trip, go on a guys trip, miss your partner for like a week or something. That probably is good. Like, if y'all are in love, and like, it's nothing wrong with going on a trip by yourself for like a couple days so you can miss your partner. You ain't gotta. The relationship does not need to die for it to be reborn. This isn't. No? Where did you get this from?
It kind of makes sense. Adam says because of the worship of Christ and his resurrection in the LDS faith, in theory, this whole theory of relationships dying is almost too perfect. But Adam soon realizes, quote, if the relationship or marriage didn't die on its own, Jodi would kill the relationship in any sociopathic way
Nigga,
alive.
what the fuck?
After a few weeks of being in a big group setting with a bunch of married couples and Jodi, now it's time to graduate to the next step. Split the couples up. Husbands go off into the men's counseling group, wives go off into the women's counseling group, and that's where things just start going off the rails bonkers. Adam is placed in a group setting with other husbands. Jodi is leading it. These other husbands, week after week, are just confessing in the man's group. They're just confessing to the most heinous predatory crimes. They're confessing to having thoughts about SA, child abuse, incest.
Nigga, get me out this fucking group. What? Oh gosh, what the hell? Well, no.
Adam is traumatized. He's a victim of CSA.
Yo.
He does not feel safe in this group, but Jodi does not care. She tells him, actually, you're on the same level as these people.
No, I'm not, you crazy bitch. No, the fuck I'm not. No, I am not. I looked at a Playboy magazine. That is not the same level as someone thinking about assaulting somebody. That's not like... Like, what the hell?
He's like, no, I'm not. I don't have predatory thoughts.
That's literally that's literally like me watching a documentary of somebody, or like me reading a story about somebody killing somebody versus someone who has serial killer thoughts. That's not the same thing. I'm looking at a medium. Somebody actively has these thoughts of doing it to the point where they're trying to expose themselves for that's not the same thing.
These people are predators because they're confessing to these predatory thoughts. I'm a victim of CSA. I feel triggered when I'm in this group.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you're in denial. You're just as bad. I'm going to help you see the truth.
What are you talking about?
This escalates until 3 weeks after giving birth. Adam's wife is understandably in a very sensitive state. She's vulnerable. Right. Adam says Jodi starts digging her claws just deeper. She starts helping Adam's wife identify how she's the victim. Mary was likely very confused. Like, what do you mean I'm the victim? It's the, oh, sweetie, you just don't know it yet. That's what Jodi's saying. Jodi would tell Mary that she had been conditioned by Adam to believe that a husband who looks at a naked picture here and there is normal. It's not normal. It's basically the same level as cheating or domestic violence, if not worse. So of course you cannot trust him around your kids.
So you better not have him have an Instagram. That motherfucker algorithm will start pushing a lot of shit to you, bro. And you don't even have to actually, like, I guess like it. Or don't let him get a TikTok. Shit, you fuck around, search up the wrong thing, you just get porn. Like, it's just like, all right. And so that means I have an addiction now because I'm getting this when I search up something on TikTok. Okay.
Kids. She's trying to tell Mary it's the same as if Adam killed someone, you know? Would you forgive him and just hope that he doesn't kill someone else? Or maybe doesn't kill you or your baby?
How does this...
Adam is so taken aback to be treated like a predator.
Girl, get out of my house.
He had to uproot his whole life after being victimized as a child, and he's still trying to work through the trauma, and his own wife is treating him like a perpetrator. Mary eventually tells Adam, it's your addiction. You just don't see it.
See, this will get into a point where I'll be like, all right, I'm kind of, my hands are tied because I'm not finna start tripping out on my wife about telling me something that's not going on. That's one. So it's like, what do I do? Do I wait until, like, but then you like, yo, first things first, Jodi needs to get the fuck out the house. She needs to get out the house. I'm not gonna lie to you, because not only did Mary not think about her parents' words of not marrying Adam, so she was able to go past that. So now Jodi is just trying to massage her shoulders while why is she in the house? What is going, like, is she in the house? Like, did y'all let this woman in the house?
Side note, Adam has only seen about 2 hours of corn in his entire life, but his wife is acting like he is an addict of these videos. Mary tells Adam that he was never a victim of child SA.
See, this is where, all right, this is where I'm not gonna lie. It might get to a point where I'm like, hey, stop talking to me. Like, honestly, if you trying to get to a certain type of level where you're trying to tell me about my victimization and tell me that shit not real, that's when I'm gonna get angry. Because who are you to tell me this? You weren't there. You weren't there. Who are you to tell me this? Because I bet you if the roles were reversed, I would be an evil person, right? Who are you to... She's pregnant right now, so I ain't gonna start ripping into her. I ain't gonna do that yet.
The wife is telling him?
That never happened to you. You're in denial because you have an addiction. You made up that story because you have an addiction.
It doesn't make sense.
By this point, Adam is trying to convince his wife, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. I'm not an addict, especially not for... And she knows that he would never lie about what happened to him.
Right.
So in this desperate attempt to try and save his marriage, Adam agrees to his wife's conditions on how to save their relationship, which is they need to break the relationship so it can be resurrected, remember? Jodi instructs them that they cannot talk to each other. They can only talk to each other in a group setting, and they need to break the relationship in order to rebuild it.
What were the vows of this marriage? That's what I'd like to know. What are the vows?
Adam suggests getting a second opinion because what kind of crazy therapist even suggests that as a marriage therapist? But Jodi tells him, see, that's your addiction speaking. The addiction knows that you are solving your addiction by coming to me. Of course, the addiction doesn't want you to keep going to me. Addiction is a parasite and it wants to keep being fed. Mary rejects his idea. She's like, no, I'm going with Jodi. Now, again, this is just from Adam's perspective. Mary has not said her side of the story, but it seems like there are, I mean, he's got files of evidence. He was on a big podcast called Mormon Stories, where they've been really covering the Jodi Hildebrandt, Ruby Franke case. That 5-hour-long interview with Mormon Stories with Adam has been taken down due to a court order.
The thing is, why are you listening to Jodi though? Like, this is your husband, dude. Like, this is your husband. You should know your husband more than Jodi Hildebrandt. I don't give a fuck. Like, you should know your husband more. This is your husband. Till death do us part, remember? Is that, if that's what a part of the vows were? You just go to this woman. Oh my gosh.
So it's a little...
Why? How so? What's going on?
There are speculations that Mary did not like being spoken about. But Mormon stories, when Adam went on there, he gave every single file that he had. Police reports, the 500-page honor code office file. He gave lawyer statements, every court order. He gave everything. He gave Jodi Hildebrandt's therapy notes that he subpoenaed. He gave everything. So it's still alleged, but I just putting it out there.
What the
Now,
fuck?
Mary allegedly rejects this idea. From this point forward, she says, we're not going to really live together. Like, we're going to live together in the same apartment because we have 2 kids together, but we're not going to speak unless Jodi is present.
Bro, get this bitch out the house. Get Jodi out of the fucking house. Like, honestly, it's not the addiction. It's Jodi. It's literally Jodi. The thing that's kind of throwing me off is like, can't you, whenever this happened, were you able to Google certain things to kind of like fact check? Like, don't they teach you in school to fact check? Like do they, like, what is happening? Like, why, what the fuck?
She even goes as far to allegedly give Adam a letter that says, as of today, I am no longer willing to take upon me the responsibilities that come with being your spouse. I set the following boundaries in order to protect myself from expectations that are not being met in this relationship. I will no longer do these things for you as a wife. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, dishes, picking up stuff after you, reminding you of any of your responsibilities or appointments, assisting you in your schoolwork, spending family time, sharing intimacy, sharing a bed, engaging in any kind of physical touch beyond these social acceptable boundaries of friends. I will consent to share our apartment as living space. I will consider to have my responsibility to take care of myself and our 2 children, and I will not consider it my duty to inform you of my daily activities or plans.
I've never heard anything like that before.
They have no physical, emotional, mental, or even verbal contact for weeks. And then one day, out of the blue, allegedly, Mary, the wife, asks Adam to give their baby a bath. So he goes, gives the baby a bath, and he says, quote, she totally walks into the bathroom in her lingerie. Like,
what? So you mean to tell me the reason why Adam got a chubby was because his wife was in a lingerie outfit? And she tried to say that he got a chubby for picking up the... Hey, bro, this is... Gotta hear the full story, sorry.
Like, I just remember thinking, oh my God, she's finally listened to me. We're going to get back to our normal life and stuff. And she starts teasing me and acting like she was going to hop in the tub with me. And I'm holding our baby, our 1-year-old. And I was like, hey, you got to get the baby out of the tub. And I'm laughing, thinking it's funny. She leaves with the baby. She comes back into the bathroom, looks at me. She looks at my private parts. And then she looks at me in disgust and just turns her back and walks away.
This type of shit is making me mad. This is really making me mad. Because I don't like when people try to manipulate situations where they know there's an outcome to come from this manipulation, and then doing little shit to try to catch you in a bind so you can like use that as evidence for some fucking papers so you can do this, that, and the third. Like, that's weird. That's evil. If my fucking wife comes in with lingerie after not seeing her for a week in some change, first off, why are you coming in the bathroom with lingerie? You just told me to watch the kid. And then you gonna get in it, you gonna stand in the door frame while I'm trying to like wash our child. And I turn around, not expecting my wife to be in lingerie. Obviously, I'm gonna get chubby. And I'm being responsible and say, hey, we should get the baby out, because if we gonna do stuff like this, like get the baby out, why you got lingerie on? You trying to do some, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And try to get the baby out. Cool, give it to you, and then you come back in the room and I'm chubbed up. If I'm finna have some skin to skin, I'm trying to assume that I'm gonna have some skin to skin because I got the baby out the thing, and now you're gonna look at me like I'm disgusting because I'm attracted to you? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense. If I'm a bad person for saying that, sorry, I might need some Jodi Hildebrandt teaching, because what the fuck is going on? This doesn't make any fucking sense, dude. So now I can't be attracted to my wife now. All right. Cool. Shit. All right. Like, this nigga Adam is getting railroaded. It's probably a bad term to say, but he's been getting railroaded since since oh my gosh, bro. Well, there goes to show you the other side of the power of a woman. You ladies have power. A lot of y'all probably don't know. You ladies have a lot of power, bro. Y'all got a lot of power. I'm sorry that the power of the patriarchy has you forget that or pushes your power down. I really apologize from that. No, real shit. I'm so sorry.
That is wild. What is going on?
That is the alleged honor code reporting of he had an erection in the bathtub.
But even if it's true, then this whole thing is
like a setup. It's entrapment.
Yes.
But
is there no law for that?
Why is that even necessary to, I don't know. It's weird.
This bathroom incident, the motives behind it become even clearer later. But Mary, his wife, is turning into a little soldier for Jodi, is what it appears to be. Adam doesn't even recognize her anymore. For example, Adam and his wife had this trip planned to go to Yellowstone. They're bringing some friends there, one couple from Brazil. They just had a baby, the couple from Brazil, and they don't have much money because they're exchange students on top of all of this. So Adam really wants to do something special for the Brazilian couple, and he's like, oh, we're gonna go on this trip and I'm gonna help you guys pay for it. Like, I will pay for all the food on the trip. It's a big moment for Adam to be able to finally do something like this and to, I don't know, do something special for his friends. But when they get to Yellowstone, Adam promised his wife that they were going to stay within an entire budget for the entire trip. Now, I believe most of the money that they were spending was Adam's. He did get settlement money from the Boy Scouts of America, but it wasn't a lot. It's not like he's rolling in it. And he also does not spend lavishly. At this point, he's hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt because of Jodi.
Oh.
At this point?
So at this point today.
Oh, today.
Yes.
Okay.
Bro.
But at this point, when they're in Yellowstone, he has a little bit of money and he doesn't spend it lavishly. And this is one of the times that he just wants to spend money on his friends. Like, this is a good reason to spend money. They realize when they get to Yellowstone that all the food prices are astronomical there because it's a tourist zone. Everyone is hiking up the prices of all the food. Adam says it's fine. But Mary starts freaking out, telling him that he is violating the boundaries of their relationship because he wants to feed his friends. He says, I remember driving like 4 hours around Yellowstone trying to find a grocery store that was cheap enough so that we could feed my friends and her baby was crying. And finally, I got so upset. I said, I can't listen. I have to do this. And my wife was screaming at me. I went into the grocery store and I bought a bunch of food to feed all of us with and her newborn baby that was crying. I mean, they were just humiliated.
What?
Adam is like, I don't know who this woman is, but it's not my wife, Mary, and I'm going to get my wife back.
You still trying to push forward. Congratulations, Adam. Sorry that you didn't know that Jodi is the fucking devil. So congratulations. You are a very strong man. I appreciate you for that. Real shit. Okay, Adam. You better not do no bullshit. We got a lot of video to go.
But 3 phone calls is what ruins everything.
3 phone calls.
The first call to the police happens after a big fight between Adam and Mary. Mary is on the phone with the police, frantically telling them that her husband is physically abusive.
What?
Okay, ma'am, what's going on? What happened? He violated the boundaries of the relationship of the marriage. What did he do? He left his backpack on the couch. A few things. I mean, one, the police were just like mouth agape, shocked. Secondly, I think this goes to show how far off the deep end Jodi has Mary. Because to confidently call the police and say that this is a transgression, that is an act of domestic violence, if not comparable, like, you cannot be in a place where your brain is functioning normally. That's how bad things are. She genuinely believes the cops are going to handcuff Adam, log in his little backpack into evidence. It doesn't even make sense. The next day, Mary calls the police again on Adam. This time, she allegedly states that he physically abused her by pushing against her, which is very interesting wording.
Pushing
like, did he
against?
push you? What do you mean he pushed against you? She states, yeah, well, I was standing here by the door. And they ask, were you blocking him from being able to leave the apartment? Well, yeah. Did he hurt you? No. The police leave because Adam has been incredibly patient during all of this, but he finally...
I'm not going to hold you. If I'm genuinely not doing anything and my wife calls the police on me for like no reason, now that's breaking the boundary. That's grounds for divorce because what the fuck? Don't call the police on me, bro. I'm not doing anything. I say don't call the police on me if I'm literally doing nothing wrong. Like, bro, like that's more than betrayal. Like using the police as a weapon, literally when I'm unarmed, in terms of like reasoning as to why the police should be called. No. Because now I'm in fear for my life from you, Jodi, and the police. That's shit.
Decides, okay, that was the second time. I'm not going to do this anymore.
Gosh.
Like, you got to stop calling the police on me. You're publicly humiliating me. I mean, not even if the police do anything. A lot of people are just going to assume that he's violent and abusive and that the police are just being incompetent.
Yes.
So Adam decides he's just going to get his life back. And that means sleeping on his own bed for once. He had been sleeping on the couch. He says, I paid for the house. I paid for the apartment. So I went into my bedroom and I slept on my bed. I said to my wife, if you don't want to sleep next to me, you don't have to, but I'm not going to sleep on the floor or the couch anymore.
Okay.
He was just tired of being treated like this subhuman being. Adam's wife calls the police and states that Adam attempted to essay her that night.
What do y'all got to say about this? Honestly, I would like to know. My hands are tied right now. I honestly can't say nothing without sounding like an asshole. And I don't want to sound like an asshole just yet because I'm trying to talk shit about Jodi. What do y'all think about this? Please let me know. I'm not saying shit else because you probably already know what my mind is thinking right now. Like you could see the words coming out of my brain right now. So what do y'all think?
What did he do? She says, well, she felt like he might essay her. The police don't do anything because, again, it's not a threat. He didn't say it. He didn't try it. All he did was sleep in his own bed that he has every right to. And
this is when the guy got to leave. You got to leave. You got to get your own place. You have to leave. You have to get your own place. Like, find a way to get your own apartment because you're not winning in this situation. You are not winning. Like, you're not winning. You're not. There are moments when you have to leave the house. Leave the house. To avoid all of this, leave the house. Honestly, because separation. Leave the house. You're not winning. I don't care how you feel. You're not winning. So take the L of paying for an apartment that you don't live in. You gotta leave, bro.
And she was just having a feeling. When this does not work the way that Mary and allegedly Jodi likely intended, Mary just disappears with their 2 kids for a little bit. Now, again, this is alleged at this point. I think, like any video, you have to come up with your own conclusions, do your own research, listen to Adam share his story. And Mary has not publicly spoken out about it, so but you get it. Now, Adam's 1-year-old baby, 3-week-old baby, his wife, they're just gone.
Like,
so
what?
After a few days, he files a police report because he thought they'd been kidnapped. And Adam says he went and talked to Jodi about what was happening and how heartbroken he was and what's going on with the kids and Mary. And he says, I just remember being in this agonizing pain, feeling it intensely. And I remember looking over at Jodi and she was smiling. Her cheeks were blushing.
So at this point, he's not resentful of Jodi yet, right? Does he think something is wrong with Jodi as well? Or
it's like a mixture of... He knows that Jodi is telling her a lot of things clearly that aren't making sense, but at this point, he's kind of confused more than anything.
Hey, bro, you gotta lock in. Jodi is the reason why this shit's happening. You over here crying, snot coming out your nose, you drooling, just having the nastiest of cries, and you look over at your therapist, and she just like this. At some point, you gotta have some pattern recognition or whatever it's called. You need to have the cues to know that she's not on your side. Now it's just you and Jodi. Now it's time for you to get a second opinion, Adam. You gotta lock in. You have to lock in, bro. Because there's stuff's happening around you. You're not tapping into the cues. You just looking like you just blind out this motherfucker. Hey, bro, lock in. You've been treated like you were crazy since you was a kid. You uprooted your whole life to be ridiculed, to marry the woman that you want to marry, the woman of your dreams. You go to marriage counseling. You do everything that you were supposed to do. You do literally everything that you're supposed to do. And you get into a marriage counselor that is literally telling you that all this stuff is because you got an addiction. Mind you, Mary didn't even know that Mary wasn't even talking like that. Now, if you go to a place, we had a place, all right. So it's 3 people. Here we go. We're gonna do this. It's 3 people, right? This is you. This is Mary. This is Jodi. You and her are pretty like, yeah, y'all might have y'all arguments and everything. So y'all go to Jodi. She ain't never talked like to her. You still locked in with your wife. She's the only person in your life that puts this into her. And now Dun is talking to you like she's talking to you like how Jodi talks to you. It's literally easy. You are alone now. Your wife and kids are gone. Lock the fuck in. Do not go to this person. She is not for you. Like, bro, like, oh my gosh. I'm not trying to be mean, but like, bro, it gets to a point. Mind you, she's calling the police on you for just and then putting honor code shit on you. So you're like seen as a social pariah at school. You have to wake up, Adam. Stop being confused. Please. I'm sorry that you've gone through this, but you have to lock in. Jodi is the devil. Fuck. Gosh.
He doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes between Jodi and Mary, but it's just confusing. So from there, Adam's wife starts reporting Adam for actually trying to abuse her and the kids, likely just making up insane stories that Jodi is feeding her. She gets a protective order against Adam and lures him to meet up with her afterwards. So he gets served this temporary protective order. And then she's like, hey, come meet up with me.
This is obviously a trap. She has a protective order against you, but now she wants you to come visit me. She took herself, her body, and the children away from you. Then literally put the state against you. Not only the state, the school you went to, everybody against you. And now she wants to see you.
Because I like you. Like, maybe we can work this out.
No.
But he will be in bigger trouble, right?
He goes, and she reports him for breaking the protective order.
All right, see, you gotta leave. You have to leave. You have to go. You have to go. Fuck this. I'm sorry you're in this predicament, Adam, but I genuinely do not think how you can get out from this. Only thing I could say is fuck Mary. Fuck that marriage. Fuck all of that. Now your goal should just be to try and be in the kid's life. Try to be in the kid's life as best as you can. Unless she pulls some strings and says that you were doing this to the kid, so you can't see the kid no more. Da 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 da. And then it's like, all right, what? Now you're at a crossroads of like, okay, you able to talk to the kids or you want to go to jail? Then you're at that crossroads. And I'm also thinking that's probably what the position that Kevin's at right now. But the thing about it with Kevin is that this could have been prevented because you were there in the videos, like corroborating Ruby's bullshit. So what I'm saying is like maybe when Jodi came into the picture, that's what was going on as to why you were like, oh, I didn't know the kids were being abused. Maybe at that point where she met Jodi, cool, but you were in there corroborating her bullshit. So
she's also going to the BYU Honor Code office to report him for violent and predatory behavior. So not only is Adam facing expulsion from college, he's facing a likely divorce and 20 years in prison for breaking his protective order.
Ladies, I just would like to let you know you do have a lot of power. And I'm just saying to the ladies that aren't going to be on this type of timing, if you feel like powerless, I understand that. But I would like to be the one to tell you that I recognize your power in any situation. I'm sorry that this has to be an example to show you how much power you have, but this is crazy. Like there are honestly some things that can take away all types of freedoms from a dude. I may be speaking to it in a terrible sense, but there's a lot of people that have told me how they feel powerless and feel like they can't do this and the third. And I would like to reassure those people that you do have a lot of power. Maybe you don't know it yet. And in certain situations, you can use that power for good. You can use that power for bad. But I would like for y'all to know that y'all have the ability to be powerful in a society where you may deem that you are not powerful.
He's trying to tell his church leader, you have to help my family. I mean, you have to read through these files because none of this is true. Like, this protective order is not true. I don't know what's going on. To which the bishop just responds, a woman doesn't just run away from her husband unless there's something. Adam is just looking at him shocked. Like, what are you talking about? You know me. The bishop is just staring at Adam. Do I know you? What?
See, then I'm going to go start punching the bishop in the face because y'all going to stop playing with me, bro. Y'all are going to stop playing with me. Stop playing in my face. Adam, you have a lot of patience. These people are playing in your face. In your face.
Are you talking about, like, you think I'm, like, physically violent or I'm sexually abusing her? He says. The bishop smiles. The fact that you just said that makes me know that you're guilty of those things. It is like every single person in Adam's life had just decided to turn him into the devil. He starts looking online, trying to figure out what Jodi's problem is. Why is she suddenly on this warpath to kind of destroy his entire life?
I'd say this. If my church person told me that would probably like click in me right there. That would click in me right there. I'll just be like, oh, word? Okay. All right. Okay. Turn around, walk out them doors, make a plan, do whatever you need to do, bro. You got to get out of there. You're not getting your wife back. I'm sorry. And if you do get your wife back, congratulations. You saw it through and through and through, but you go to the bishop and he not on your side. Nobody on your side, bro.
And reviews for Jodi Hildebrandt, the negative ones, read, she reminds me of an abuser in an abusive relationship. She isolates her clients by setting up unrealistic expectations so they believe all their friends and family are toxic, leaving them to only depend on her and her, quote, support phone calls. It makes me sad to think about how many relationships she has poorly hurt. Another, she's not worthy to be trusted with your marriage or relationships. My wife went to her counseling and classes, and the main result was that Miss Hildebrandt brainwashed my wife that I had an addiction when I did not.
So you mean to tell me you didn't look at the bad reviews when you were looking for the... Okay.
My wife was so certain that I was hiding something as a result of this woman's lies that we had to go to an honest counselor to help dispel the dishonesty that Jodi Hildebrandt had told my wife. Do not go to this woman. Go to a specialist who respects both members of the marriage and does not spread so-called empowering lies. So
I'm guessing the good reviews were up the top. That's where the skimming was. You just skip through the joint where it's like 1 star. Do not buy. Do not go. And it was just more good reviews. Like, you know how like on you try to look for reviews and it's like all good reviews and you just see that one that just has this 3-hour-long dissertation as to why you shouldn't go. They don't ring no alarm bells at all. All right.
And another, I have a very different history with Jodi than most. I'm a pretty well-known therapist, and I trained under Jodi Hildebrandt for a year. As I trained under her, I saw her tear apart families and destroy relationships. I believe she is truly evil, and I don't say that lightly. I have done so much therapy for people coming out of her, quote, cult, who were traumatized by her therapy. I don't have an axe to grind, but I am tired of people getting hurt by her work. I'm reluctant to speak out against colleagues and other therapists. However, I wouldn't mind somehow, some way helping people see how dangerous this woman is. But nobody is willing to listen to Adam or anybody else that has said anything negative about Jodi. Adam was referred to Jodi by the bishop from the church. Jodi works as a therapist for this massive company called Lifestar, which, side note, the church bishop that recommends Adam to Jodi, The bishop's brother owns that chapter of Lifestar, which is already a massive conflict of interest. It just adds to all the foul characters in this case. Because the sick part is, Adam gets money from the settlement from his abuse case for things like therapy, and the bishop knows that, and it's like he's thinking, well, why not give that money to my brother by going to his business where they employ a bunch of therapists? And
there's nothing wrong with getting a second opinion. Always get a second opinion. Don't trust your first one. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Get a second opinion just to be sure, because some people can be wrong. We are not God. Even the highest of qualified people can be wrong.
it's not cheap or affordable. It's like $500 a week per person. And that's not even individualized therapy. That's to join a men's group with a bunch of other husbands. And then you have personal sessions that you have to pay for. That's 1 to 2 additional sessions per week.
That's too much money.
Between
too much
Adam and his wife, Mary, I mean, they're spending thousands of dollars per month to work with Jodi.
Bro, what was so wrong with their relationship that they gotta spend thousands per month for the devil therapist? This is crazy.
Lifestar itself has its own controversies. It's known for being a network of LDS therapists, and some have said, if you go to Lifestar and you've ever seen like a naked body depicted on any sort of media, God forbid that you've ever watched explicit videos, you're an addict and you're gonna need to enter a lengthy 12-step program. Many therapists in the network also believe that if you ever self-pleasure, you are technically cheating on your partner.
How? Is it because you did it to something that's not your wife? Is that what constitutes cheating? What if I'm self-pleasuring myself to my spouse? Is that my addiction too? Like, what the fuck?
And this is a grave instance of infidelity, and you need to join a support group. There have also been accusations against Lifestar that they will, if you have health insurance, they will diagnose you with an actual DSM-5 recognized diagnosis, because
what?
addiction is not one. I know that
really?
a lot of people do struggle with it, but
wow.
porn addiction is technically not one.
Wow.
So they'll diagnose you with other things in the DSM-5 so that your insurance will pay for it. Allegedly, that is the accusation that has been levied upon them multiple times by internet users. Which, side note, I think it's fine if someone believes it's not in their beliefs to take part in self-pleasure or consumption of explicit materials. I think we should respect everybody's choice, especially, only if they're adults, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, unless you want that you know, doing unless.
But to actively go around shaming everyone, condemning them to the deepest, darkest depths of hell for doing it, I think causes more harm.
Yes.
And for Adam, it was kind of like that. There was this never-ending idea that self-pleasure is one of the greatest evils in the world. Like,
yeah, because pedophilia isn't, right?
Right up there with murder.
Or
he says, there was a lot of guilt and shame behind self-pleasuring and explicit material.
But there's not guilt and shame behind touching children. What the fuck? I don't...
in the church. I mean, I had a lot of guilt and shame. As a kid growing up, I discovered self-pleasuring a few weeks before I met Brad, and just on my own, quietly. From then on, I just always believed that God had sent this pedo into my life to punish me. Because I was sick. So like that's how ingrained and how damaging it is. That it made him believe that he deserved to be a victim.
Bro, you don't deserve to be a victim. I genuinely don't give a shit if you whack your willy. I don't care. You don't deserve to be a victim from that, dog. What the fuck? This is crazy.
Of essay. As punishment. And now he's recommended by the church to Jodi, and she's telling him that he was never abused, that he's the addict here, the bad one. And now he has to show up to court to refute accusations against him about the whole bathtub incident.
Oh my
he thinks
gosh.
the whole thing is crazy. I mean, Mary walked in with lingerie. He wanted her to put the baby to sleep so that they can have consensual adult time, and she accuses him of CSA of his own child. He is a victim of CSA. He walks into court and the worst conflict of interest is sitting right there. Right next to Mary, there's Jodi Hildebrandt, the therapist, but also Elder Halam, The higher up in the LDS church that when Adam was 14, he tried to allegedly shut Adam up for the abuse.
If I walk into that courtroom and I see the demons of my past and the demon of my present, I literally will think that I'm not going to win this case. Real shit. Because what the fuck? What the hell? I don't think I'm going to win, but I'm going to try my damnedest to let people know that I am not a freaky fuck. Yo, whoa.
That he suffered. Then later he tried to prevent Adam from marrying Mary. He's just sitting right there, right next to Jodi Hildebrandt.
Fuck.
Which, you know what? With all disrespect, we hate Elder Halam. And unfortunately, if you want to send him a non-threatening but scathing message of how his soul will burn in the depths of hell for the rest of eternity, he's dead.
Oh, damn it.
He's probably there burning.
Fuck. Damn. Shit. Well, I hope he ain't got no air conditioner down there. Don't give him none of that shit. Give him the small joint with the hell toilet that don't flush. So not only does he get fiery shits, a charred butt. It stink. I hope they got food down there that's not only nasty, it's like a laxative that you gonna shit yourself and be constipated at the same time. Fuck that nigga.
Why is he there?
In
They
hell?
just all kind
Yeah.
of linked up and...
Exactly. Adam is facing 4 felony charges. Each is a 3rd degree for violation of a protective order, domestic violence enhancement. And Adam states these are all the lies. He has to now spend $250,000, go through all this trauma, fighting all these allegations just to plead guilty to an attempt to break a protective order, which is a misdemeanor. He had to pay a fine, no jail time. He did spend like a few days in jail because they briefly arrested him right when he broke the protective order. But he technically pled guilty, which means everyone in Utah and the church thinks that he's this crazy abuser that was never abused as a kid, just creating chaos wherever he goes.
Bro, can he move? He has to move. Move to the other side of the country. Is it possible for him to move? He gotta move.
But later, they will find evidence that some really dark things were happening between Mary and Jodi.
I don't want to hear this later. I don't. I really don't. Because what the fuck? Like, y'all ruined this man's life.
They allegedly found evidence that they were trying to manufacture evidence on Mary and Adam's child to accuse Adam of SA.
Oh,
so remember
no.
the incident in the bathroom? They were trying to enhance that with evidence, allegedly.
What did they find? Like text messages?
Obviously, these are not available to the public. Just descriptions of it make it seem like there is evidence that shows Jodi and Mary trying to get the daughter to pose in a way and to say, like, daddy did this to me, training her.
This is all types of evil. If you do this, you need your ass beat. I don't know I'm not going to like banish you to hell because I don't have the power to do that. But fuck you. You are evil. You are evil. This is probably why, you know what? This is probably why Jodi ass over here cackling and not cackling, punching herself in the chest and shit. Demon gonna come out of you. Demon gonna come out of your ass. You talking about?
If you will.
What you talking about?
Allegedly. Mary and her attorneys used Adam's psych evaluation that showed how bad the abuse he endured in childhood was. They used those documents to now try and take his children away from him. So, side note, they also just go around showing his documents to everyone.
What?
Just with extensive details of the trauma he endured, just letting everyone read it like it's book club. Adam says the worst part is they used it against him to say that he's not fit to be a dad. He says, think about it. A victim comes forward, tells the truth about the hell and the trauma. Maybe he's a decent person, but this is really traumatic, and they use it to punish me, try and take the kids away.
Sick.
He says they kept arguing that because I was a victim of sexual abuse, I wasn't able to be a safe parent.
So does that mean, so you're pretty much just saying all the victims of abuse aren't safe parents? That's pretty much what you're saying.
They twisted it into something heinous to just stab him with. Now, an additional side note, Mary at one point accuses Adam of being gay, which in itself is obviously not offensive.
Yeah, what?
But Adam has SA trauma from when he was a child, and it's likely that he has a very complicated relationship, or did have a complicated relationship with his sexuality, because he was abused by a monster who happened to be male.
Right.
And being from a faith that typically condemns gay relationships, it's likely further complicated things for Adam as a victim.
Okay, well, even if he was gay, that don't matter. Why do people be throwing gay like it's like a demonic thing? Like, what the fuck? Why are we not talking about the... If your religion teaches against gayness, why are you shunning gay people but doing pedophilia? I don't understand.
There was just no bar too low, no bar in hell too low for Jodi and Adam's now ex-wife, Mary, to just target Adam. Emails between Jodi and Mary were uncovered in Adam's fight to exonerate himself from the accusations. So the two, Mary and her therapist, Jodi, are writing to each other about the contract that Mary is going to give Adam. They're going back and forth of like, oh, you should say we're living together but technically separate. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. Mary emails Jodi, I wrote up this contract yesterday afternoon after our meeting. It's still a work in progress. I'm open for any suggestions. Thanks. Jodi responds, this looks good. The more specific you can be, the better. But this looks good as a starting point. I will share this with him this evening if you would.
This is ruining actual victims' like statements and stuff like that. I just want you guys to know that. So, something like this is one of the reasons why there are some weird ass people who try to speak against actual victims, because they think they can use this outlier ass thing that's going on or the other outlier ass events that happen that support their claim. Shit like this. It's literally shit like this.
Would like. They later add stipulations that Adam cannot withhold funds from his wife and that he is not allowed to see any other therapist outside of Jodi. Side note, since we're here, the honor code at BYU. I'm sorry. Oh. I'm not sorry. What? Adam had a few friends targeted by the BYU honor code office just because they were friends with Adam, allegedly. One female friend was called in because Mary reported her for adultery with Adam since their divorce had not finalized yet.
What?
She was asked about extensive... Okay, so this female friend of Adam's is also a survivor of CSA.
Oh.
The honor code office asked her for hours, grilled her about the essay that happened to her during her childhood.
Bro. What the fuck?
We don't even know how they knew about it. She never told the honor code office that, so maybe they got church records, church files about it, which is crazy.
That is
she was
sick.
interrogated over her past trauma. Then she was accused of having an adulterous affair with Adam, to which she adamantly denied. But they called in Mary, Adam's wife, and she confirms, no, I know they're adulterers, okay? They're having an affair.
How? There's no proof. How do you have this much power? Oh, wait, I forgot. Her families are higher ups. Never mind.
To which point, the honor code office is trying to ask, like, do you know what adultery is, right? Like, it's when people do it, like they're having physical relationships. Yeah. Mary just responds, oh, well, then maybe they didn't have an affair. Maybe it was just spiritual and emotional. The next friend targeted by the honor code office is Seth.
So we not going to act like Mary just be saying whatever? Like, that just, is that, like, what? Like, she just comes into the office. No, they fucking. I just know it. Do you know what that means? No. They was probably spiritually fucking. Like, this is the same person that called the police because he had a fucking backpack on the couch. What the fuck?
Beth, one of Adam's best friends. Now, by this point, it feels like anyone who is friendly with Adam is going to suffer too. Truly, to try and alienate him is what I think.
Why,
Adam was sharing custody over the kids. Not legally, but I think it was more so agreed upon.
You know what I think? I honestly think ever since this is how far people will go to, like, ruin your life after you try to call them out for doing nasty stuff to them. Like, this is where I think the fear of speaking out comes from, because I genuinely think that after what happened in Idaho, and he tried to keep going, tried to keep getting justice, them higher ups were like, we gonna get you, boy. We gonna get you, boy. Watch, we gonna get you, boy. We gonna let you know you never fuck with us. That's how I think the interwebs of deeping of, like, why people are afraid to, like, come out about these things, because shit like this, they are following him. They are literally following him. just because he spoke out about something that happened, which I would think would be against the teachings of what's going on. I don't know the teachings of what's going on, but I don't know. Like, you're still following this nigga when he all bearded up? You did that shit to him when he was a kid. This nigga got a full-grown beard and kids. This is nuts.
And Seth came with him to see Mary. Mary grabs, allegedly, a giant shell the size of a cinder block.
What?
And throws it at Adam.
What the
He
fuck?
quickly dodges because he's holding their baby in his arms. And Seth wrote a statement about it to the honor code office saying, hey, you know how everyone is reporting Adam? Well, guess what? Mary just tried to kill him.
This is why you need videos. Ooh. I bet you know what? You know what I bet? If he had, well, probably couldn't even put no security cameras in there because she gonna say, oh, he tried to stalk me and everything. You gotta pull out your fucking phone. Pull out the phone. If somebody is tripping, pull out the phone. So they can see that cinder block shell come at the phone with the baby in hand. It may look weird, but you can protect yourself. Protect yourself.
Maybe not that dramatically, but you get the point. They turn around and the honor code starts questioning him if he's a sex addict.
Wait.
Also, Seth is a chef. He cooks with wine sometimes, as one does. They accused him of hiding an alcohol problem and being addicted to sex. They told Seth if he keeps hanging around Adam, they will kick him out of the university. They go after like 5
Bro, fuck this university. What the hell? This is crazy.
of Adam's friends for, again, the sole reason that Adam is around them. And also, at one point, the BYU police sent by the honor code office came and interrogated Adam for about 2 hours, asking incredibly intense questions about the abuse he suffered when he was 14. What does that have to do with anything? But it was traumatizing.
Oh yeah, this is definitely because he spoke out. This is definitely why. There's no doubt about it in my mind. This is definitely from that.
That I felt so filthy and gross after that. It seems like the honor code office did not realize that Adam could subpoena their records, which he does.
Oh.
Adam says he will never forget the day that he was accused of essay of his own child. He says, how I couldn't even breathe. I mean, I had a panic attack in the parking lot afterwards. So there's a clear conflict of interest everywhere here.
Right.
He subpoenas the BYU honor code files on him, which Jodi clearly breaks patient confidentiality by talking to them about Adam. But not only that, she has nothing to back up any accusations, suspicions, or statements that she has uttered about Adam. He subpoenas her therapy case notes and the case notes about Adam, whom Jodi Hildebrandt has reported for being this sexual predator, one of the most dangerous people that she's ever met, that he's R-wording not only his wife, but his 1-year-old daughter. He's so sick and twisted and so great at manipulation that he is an active danger to the public. You would think Jodi has 2 novel-length spiral notebooks on him detailing his sick perversions, but when he gets her notes, it's like this long. It's 1 page, not even. Adam is in here for marriage counseling, has some sexual issues that he wants to work on, aka staring 20 seconds too long at a picture of an unclothed woman on the internet.
And also, that honestly could literally just be like, oh, here's some titties. Wait, what is that? Is that like a birthmark or something? Like, literally, that can just take 20 seconds. It's like, oh, okay. There to go. Those are titties. All right, cool. Sorry for looking at these titties for too long.
That's about it.
So these are being used in court.
Yeah, because he's like, I mean, this is not a good therapist. Like, this is crazy. She's levying all these accusations against me, and these are her notes on me. Like, I've told her nothing. She wasn't even Adam's personal therapist.
I'm not gonna lie. If it gets to the point where the judge is like against Adam, he need to leave. You gotta leave, brother. You need to leave. If that shit goes all the way up to the court, and the court is in cahoots, you are in a web that probably may kill you, because they are following you, bro.
He was part of group sessions, but he never really sat with her one-on-one.
Wow.
So he's like, suddenly you're just coming out accusing me of like the world's most heinous crimes out of the gate for no reason at all. There are also logs of emails between Jodi and Mary where they collude on how to take Adam down, allegedly. There are emails of Jodi coaching Mary on how to talk to authorities to make Adam look worse. It's not even just like, say this, but she's all present things as an inquiry, not in anger. when you present things to authorities. She's coaching her on her tone, her delivery. She writes, give the authorities the right thinking because they're not going to come up with those thoughts themselves. It's difficult when you begin to see what is really going on, to be patient with those who don't. Be direct and act inquisitive, not angry or defensive. Make them think that they came up with the idea themselves.
What did Jodi say to Mary to where, like, other than the addiction thing, is it just like the repetition of saying the word addiction? Or something?
Mary would email back, those suckers, they totally fell for it. Ultimately, Adam would not get custody of his kids, although he's in their lives now. Netizens theorize it's mainly because Mary and Jodi are no longer in each other's lives, and Mary allegedly wants to focus on dating rather than her kids.
Dating should be the last thing that you should be thinking about. You shouldn't be thinking about nothing but your damn kids. What are you focusing on dating for? Dating for what? If Jodi come out of jail and find your ass again, you probably gonna get right back into that web. You worried about dating? Obviously people can come in between you and them dates. So you don't need to be worried about no damn dating. Worry about your damn kids.
So it's just better for Adam to take care of the kids, I guess, allegedly from her perspective. So he is in the kids' lives, but he doesn't have custody as of right now. He was also placed in jail for 7 days for breaking that restraining order. He was kicked out of university. He was hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt from legal fees. His reputation has been ruined. He has much more extensive PTSD than before his entire life was derailed by Jodi Hildebrandt. I mean, the magnitude of courage and empathy that Adam has is pretty awe-inspiring. Yeah. Even when talking about this incident on the Since Taken Down podcast by Mormon Stories, he never really blames his wife. He expresses a lot of pain and betrayal from her, but he actually shows a lot of understanding for her. He believes that Jodi told his wife about all these unhinged, deviant crimes that Adam was allegedly committing, which he wasn't, which Adam has denied all of them to his wife, but she just thought he was lying.
I'm still trying to understand how, like, bro, like, how long were they dating before they got married? They've been married for like 2 years. Like, how do you think you literally fought your parents to get married? That must mean there's some strong connection there. And you let Jodi just break in and just say whatever. She just met y'all and put this venom in your mind. Like, what? Honestly, for me, I would have been like, bro, did I not instill like my actual personality to my wife to where she thinks I'm just lying? Like, what?
Adam says Jodi would just have everybody just chopping off all the arms of support in their life until there was no one left to support you except for Jodi Hildebrandt. Adam says Jodi Hildebrandt is like Ted Bundy. She is completely pathological, and that lady is going straight to hell.
He's not suing Jodi or going after her?
No, he hopefully he will, but he thought about going after BYU. Mm-hmm. They admitted him back into the school, but he didn't have time or money to hire babysitters or time for anything.
So BYU did all this to me, and I'm supposed to go back to BYU? Nigga, fuck BYU if I'm Adam.
At that point, he was also too traumatized to go back to BYU.
Yeah, like what?
He thought about suing BYU. He asked, how would the settlement be paid?
He asked an attorney?
He asked the assistant dean of BYU, I believe. Mm-hmm. And she said it would be paid using tithes, which is offerings from the church.
I don't want that blood money. Hell no.
And those are supposed to be used to help people that need it.
Oh, hell no.
And he said that he didn't want to sue.
I don't want that shit. No, fuck
so
that.
So he says Jodi's going straight to hell. And there's a road to hell, actually. It's called Hellhole Pass Road. Yeah, Hellhole Pass Road. That's the road name. It's dry. It's hot. It's
Go
like
back to
hell.
Ruby?
The road runs through the Beaver Dam Mountains on both sides of the road. You just see mountains, dry red rock mountains and desert scrub bushes. The road is gravel. It's completely uneven, and there's usually not a lot of cars going up and down the road. I mean, one does not choose to drive up and down Hellhole Road
One
for
does
fun.
not choose to.
Except for Jodi Hildebrandt.
Okay.
She likes to bring her niece to Hellhole Pass Road, her 14-year-old niece, and make them run up and down. Run up and down the road until I tell you to stop. I don't care that it's 100 degrees in Utah. You have no shade, no water. Just run. Run for your sins or you'll go to hell.
What? Run?
Licensed therapist Jodi Hildebrandt has taken on the courageous task of helping her 14-year-old niece, Jessie, who goes by they, them pronouns, by the way. This is before Adam Paul Steed. They were also interviewed by Mormon Stories.
Oh.
How old is
Jodi, at the time, she was much younger.
not Jodi, the niece?
They were 14 when they first got taken in by Jodi.
What about today?
Today, they're probably...
Fully adults,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
Now, Jodi is itching for a big project, and Jessie is her biggest one yet. Jessie is probably one of the biggest sinners that Jodi has ever laid eyes on. What is the grave sin that they committed? Being too Mormon. Jessie, now adult, tells Mormon Stories podcast during an interview.
I've always been a very curious person and always, I think, very challenging in that way.
So both of their parents are super religious in the LDS faith and obviously very well connected. Jodi is Jessie Hildebrandt's aunt. Jessie's father is Jodi's brother, who also happens to be an attorney. So Jessie's father is Jodi Hildebrandt's brother, and Jessie's father is an attorney. They say that they had a very typical, strict, conservative, LDS faith-filled upbringing. They say, this is talking about Jessie's mom. My mom is very docile, sweet, obedient, very efficient housewife. I mean, everything was always very clean and very organized and very efficient. I think it was kind of a wrecking ball to them, always asking why about everything. No answer was good enough, and it wasn't coming from a place of disrespect. It was genuinely, I didn't understand, and I was very curious about things.
Right, understandable.
In Jessie's mind, this is true. The LDS faith is true. The Book of Mormon is true. Their entire family are devout LDS church members. Their logic is true. And they're thinking, I just need to find all of the supporting evidence to back it up now.
Yeah.
I know a few people like that as well. Like they grew up in super religious. You can't watch Marvel movies because they're not rooted in faith. And there are just certain people that grow up like that but still want to know, but why? It's not that they're trying to be mean. It's not that they're like, I don't believe in this. It's just they want to know why for everything.
Yeah.
I feel like you're kind of like that. You always ask why for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're challenging anything. Their brain just functions in a way where they want to know the reasoning behind every single thing that's done. Every tradition, there must be a reason for it. So Jessie says, asking questions, especially maybe higher esoteric unanswerable questions or questions that point out skeletons. Why weren't Black people allowed to have priesthood? Why weren't they allowed to be at the church for the longest time? What about sexism? What about...
That Black people junk perked my ears up. What I would think if they were asking why, wouldn't the parents say, this is why? So if you want to, continue the faith in the family, then they would know why. That would make a lot of sense, right? Apparently not, right? Okay.
race? Those types of questions you don't ask. You don't talk about it.
Oh my gosh.
So this podcast also, are they dedicated to
Mormon stories? I believe the host, I don't think they're ex-Mormons. I think they've been excommunicated, but still hold a degree of faith. I think that they just don't like the established religious aspect. So they interview a lot of ex-Mormons or current Mormons and talk about their experience with maybe things that have been happening in the church that you're not technically supposed to talk about.
I see.
Yeah, they're a great resource, I think. Now, it's not like Jessie is challenging their parents for the sake of trying to prove them wrong or rebelling against the religion.
I also, it always boggles my mind when people have this don't talk about that mentality, because it's like, I think someone will come across those people's lives to literally pull that information out of them. Especially if you're doing something like fucked up. I think, and maybe I could be wrong, but in someone's lifetime that wants to hide things, there will be somebody in your life that pulls that information out of you. You are going to have to face what is going on. Like, I don't know anybody or any situation where that information does not cross, that the exposure of this information does not cross their desk. I don't believe so. And if it hasn't happened, it's going to happen. i.e., where Stephanie is right now in this case. And also I'm interested in finding out what type of videos coming out from that, because as this Diddy case is going on, I got a lot of thoughts, bro. And depending on what may happen, I don't know. That nigga is probably going to get out of jail. I'm going to be honest with you. Or not go for a long time. But we'll see.
In a snarky teenager kind of way. Jesse says, by the time I was 16, I had read the Book of Mormon 6 times. I believed it. So in my head, this is true. My logic was just backwards. I started with the belief, or I was like, okay, this is true, so I will find the evidence to support it instead of following the evidence to the eventual truth. But also, I was a total nerd. And then, the ADHD, they say that they have ADHD, and they say this was a hyperfixation. And then the layer of wanting familial acceptance, it's very powerful. I was emotional. I was strong-willed. I questioned everything. And neither one of my parents, I think, knew what to do with that. They were not prepared because of the culture of the church. Jesse also likes to experiment with their clothes and makeup, which makes everyone in their family freak out. Like, as if they had just brought home a 2-headed seal and said, this is my new best friend. Yeah. Jesse gets ambushed at a family gathering. They're all gathered at Jesse's grandparents' home. So this is Jodi's parents' home. Mm-hmm. And Jodi happens to be there because Jodi is Jesse's aunt.
Of course.
This is Jesse's father's home. When everyone leaves, including Jesse's parents, Jesse didn't even know that their parents had left. Jesse was down in the basement. They just left them. Yeah. It's just Jodi and their grandparents.
It was Jodi and my grandparents telling me that my family had left and I wasn't going with them.
I like their style.
And that my life was about to change pretty dramatically.
Oh. Wait, they got a George Condo print? Ooh. Okay. Oh, all right.
I still remember that moment as just, it's completely galvanized itself onto my soul. It was in movies when they do they zoom in and pull out at the same time. It was like that really wild,
like a dolly zoom.
That's how it felt.
Wow.
And everything changed in that moment.
And they sit them down and explain that their life is going to change forever. Jesse will not be going home. Jesse will be going with Jodi, and Jodi is going to fix them.
Because Jesse asked too many questions that they can't answer.
Yes. And Jesse likes to wear strong eyeliner and not super feminine, modest clothing. And how do they fix Jesse? By making them sleep out on the balcony in the middle of winter. This is January in Utah. Nighttime temperatures are anywhere between 8 to 30 degrees. Sometimes it can be, in the rural areas, drop to 0 degrees. All Jesse would get to sleep on the balcony every single night would be this flimsy $5 sleeping bag from Walmart. The risk of hypothermia is significant, but Jodi does not care.
Quick question. Sorry,
she even lies to Jesse's parents, telling them that Jesse was given this high-end sub-zero type of sleeping bag. This just feels extreme. Why are we putting a 14-year-old through this?
Question. Remember when Stephanie said Jodi was kind of like a man-hater? Do you guys think, or if I'm tripping, please let me know if could be wrong or something. Do you think Jodi's inherent hatred for men was activated because Jesse didn't wear the cultural feminine type of attire? So in terms of ways to fix them, they put them in this wilderness type of stuff so they can feel what it's like to be a primitive man, and put them in masculine or man-centered type of stuff. You know how like some people, when they catch their kid smoking a cigarette, they be like, you better smoke all them packs of cigarettes. Feel what it's like to be a cigarette smoker. Like that type of thing. And making them run up and down the whatever that road is called, because that's, I guess, what men do. They do physical activity. Like, is this a type of pipeline for that?
Jodi would tell Jesse that this is the start of getting Jesse to confess to their sins and addictions. Jodi is saying, Jesse,
she loves that word addiction.
Denial. You have not come to terms with how evil you are yet. Jesse has ADHD, and at the time when they were 14, it was undiagnosed. Jodi would sit there watching Jesse. If Jesse moves their hand back and forth, or if they tap their feet, Jodi would snap, look at you. Look at you. You're tapping your foot because your body is so full of shame. So much shame is in there, and it has nowhere to go in that little body. So it comes out like this by you tapping your foot. This is all the shame just itching to leave. Like I said, if you are angry, if you are depressed, if you are anything, it's all a result of shame. Shame is the cause. Shame is the result of sin. Sin causes shame. Shame causes mental health issues. Your body and spirit are full of shame. What I am doing for you is to make you physically so uncomfortable that it forces the sin out. Just remember a lot of this verbiage because it comes up in the next episode.
I bet it does.
This comes up when Jodi is torturing Ruby Franke's kids. I have to make you so physically uncomfortable that it forces the sin out.
Bro,
Eventually,
what?
Jodi moves Jesse in from sleeping out on the snow on the balcony to this little bunker of a room in the closet in Jodi's office. Maybe it's a little bigger than a closet, but no windows. It just has like a table and chair shoved inside, and they're to sleep on the floor. This is going to be Jesse's life from now on.
How long was that already? Like,
oh, I think they were with Jodi for years.
Bro,
wow.
They tried running away multiple times. It wasn't until the third time that they were able to successfully break away. And even then, there were instances where they were brought in by family members to do these family events, and Jodi would be there and they would be terrified. Like, they were terrified that this would be another way to facilitate them going back with Jodi.
What's Jesse's emotion towards this whole incident?
So much trauma. I mean, they're very eloquent. In the interview with Mormon Stories, they're able to articulate exactly what they felt in the moment that makes you feel like you were there with them. But at the same time, it's pretty clear that they're still working through a lot of the trauma. And not in like they're breaking down, which that would not be like a shameful thing or anything like that. But in the sense of they state that over and over. Like it has impacted every aspect of their lives. So this is going to be Jesse's life from now on. That's just the inside of this room. Jodi tells Jesse along the lines of, you're no longer going to school. You're not going home to your parents. As your therapist, it is my duty to fix you. You're going to live and work here full time. But the first rule number 1, you are not allowed to leave this room. All you can do every single day is write your sins out on a piece of paper. And every day you will tell me what you have written because I need to get the sin out of you. Jesse doesn't even know what other sins to come clean about. Jesse has told Jodi a few things, the reasons for them being taken to Jodi. One of them included that they had kissed a girl before, which is like a huge thing, I guess. So it's not like Jesse is uncooperating, which even then, this is sick and cruel. Jesse just doesn't know what else to write down. So Jesse's sitting there trying to think, and they're trying to think back to every single living action that they have ever done in their entire lives.
Goodness.
I mean, maybe once while drinking from a public water fountain, they accidentally pressed 2 seconds too long. Like, they're thinking that hard. Like, is there anything that I've done that I'm preventing the evil from coming out of my body? Jesse's sitting there writing down, one time I lied to my best friend Scotty. Like, just the stupidest things. These are the types of things. And at the end of the day, Jodi walks in, snatches the paper out of their hands, reads it out loud, and makes Jesse get on their hands and knees, beg for forgiveness while I read all of your sins back to you. When she's done reading the piece of paper out loud, she looks at Jesse, who is still on their knees. No, that's not it. This isn't it. There is more, and I need to know there's more. I know you've had multiple abortions.
Yo, what's up with Buddy? What?
Jesse did not.
Is there something going on with Jodi? What happened with Jodi when she was a kid? Did she do all this other shit and it's just like personifying it to like what she's doing? Because what is this? What is this? What the fuck? Like, what?
Jesse did not. Jesse would even say later in the interview, I mean, Jodi would rationalize and validate these types of behaviors through dreams and visions. Like, she would have dreams that God came to her and told her that I had abortions. And so no matter what I said, I was a liar. She was convinced that every word that came out of my mouth was a lie. That gave her rationale to put duct tape on my mouth. That's why I was always duct taped. Everywhere Jessie went, she had duct tape on her mouth because every word I said was a lie.
That's crazy.
Which is like the most unhinged accusation. So first of all, Jessie has never had intimate relations that could result in pregnancy at that age. They didn't even really know or understand how it works. Also, Jessie likes girls. And that's what Jessie told Jodi. So Jessie's like, what are you talking about?
Bro, what?
I mean, they've known for a while now. There's just no way that they got pregnant, let alone terminated multiple pregnancies. Also, Jodi accuses Jessie of terminating, like, I think it was like 14 pregnancies. It was a lot. It was just a lot. Even though Jodi knows that Jessie is gay. Jessie says, I was struggling with my relationship with my father. I was struggling with self-hatred. I knew I was gay. I knew I was queer. That was a huge part of my internalized shame. Eventually, Jessie learns that the only way to even get Jodi to calm down is to just make up things. And this is going to become really important in part 4, the final part of this episode, because Ruby starts accusing her own children of doing some heinous things. Jodi forces you to just make up sins.
So if I make up a sin to Jodi, then that gives justification as to why Jodi's still abusing me. Like, I don't see an end goal with this. Like, I don't see no end goal with this. There's no end goal.
Like, the craziest sin that you can think of, you have to say it out loud or else she's probably going to torture you. It's like, no matter what they did.
Did any of these people swing on Jodi? Like, I know, I'm sorry if I sound like I have just a violent mentality, but like, there's a lot of abuse here. And I don't know to what point, to what extent, where anybody fights back, like physically fighting back, because I'm just trying to think, like, or maybe it's because I do have just this type of fucking violent mental thing, and I'll just leave it at that.
Jodi just wanted Jessie to be the devil. There was no way around it. You could not prove that Jessie was not the devil to Jodi. They say Jodi was convinced that I was a drug addict, that I was a sex addict. She was convinced that I had multiple terminations. She was convinced of so many beliefs.
Just lying.
Never allowed privacy. I was never allowed privacy when using the bathroom.
Yeah.
I had 7 minutes to shower, 2 minutes to use the toilet with the door open. I wasn't allowed tampons because she was convinced that I was an addict and I was self-pleasuring with them. I was never allowed to have the bathroom door closed because she was convinced that I was constantly self-pleasuring in there. She was convinced that I was addicted to explicit material. I mean, I'd never seen porn at that point in my life. I didn't even know that people with my anatomy could self-pleasure. This is Jodi's manual on complete destruction of a human being. How to take a human and break them in every aspect: physical, mental, emotional. The physical is likely the easier part for Jessie. And that's saying a lot because it's just torture, plain and simple. Jodi would make Jessie run up and down Hellhole Pass Road for hours. The concept being, quote, for the reason of making me so physically uncomfortable that I would confess to sins. I mean, if you also made me run up and down a road for hours in the sweltering heat, I would confess to anything.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, I just need a cup of water. You're right. I have reincarnated as the spawn of Satan. I would say whatever you wanted me to say.
Hey, man. That's cool. Once after lap 5, I'm going to start devising a plan to punch you in the face, throw you out of the car, taking the keys, and driving home. I'll deal with what happens after. Get you a nice good clock to the chin till you fall over. Ah, Jesse! And then take the keys, or probably take the keys and whatever, and just drive home. I don't know how that would happen. Somehow, some way. I don't know. This is. I don't know.
There was one time Jessie says that they finally stood up and said, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Jessie says, that was the day that I walked away. And I was like, no, And I turned around and she punched me in the back and knocked me down. And
Oh, yeah. Oh, all right. You hit me? Oh, we can straight into it. I don't know what type of strength you got, but
Jodi, she's not tall, but she's sturdy. She's a powerhouse of a woman, very strong. Then she ended up going inside. I stayed outside. I went to a neighbor's house. The neighbor didn't know what to do. Jodi found me, came, and again, the neighbor was like, I don't want to tell her, but I have to because you're a minor and she has power of attorney. She's your guardian, and I can't lie to her. That's how Jesse gets sent back.
Oh, fuck.
Mentally, it's confusing, though. Jesse says they ran away 3 times, only to end right back up at Jodi's house, and the punishment for running away would be to be blindfolded, tied up by their arms and legs, roughly thrown into the back of a car. Jesse had no clue where they were being taken.
Bro,
they're
this
driving
is
for like
crazy.
an hour before finally they hear the car shut off. They're in the mountains. Jesse will be forced to run up and down the mountains as repentance for running away. The worst part is it gets to the point where the torture and the life is so bad that once they're done running up and down the mountain, Jodi would start showering Jesse with praise. I knew you could do it. I knew you could repent, and my niece is still in there. Jesse says after attempting to run away 3 times, hating life, wanting to be in jail rather than with Jodi, but once they hear that little bit of praise, mentally your brain is so starved, so desperate, it gives you a high.
Oh my
like you
gosh.
want to work harder for praise from Jodi. They say in the other part, that type of abuse that I don't think is talked about as much is that 90% of the time you're evil and horrible and wrong and the abuse is almost unbearable. But then there are moments where you're rewarded and you're now the best thing in the world. And so after these 6 hours of running up and down the mountain, the reward that Jodi gave me of acceptance of you did it, you did the thing, it creates this cycle, which I think is already the foundation and the prerequisites of this is instilled in the Mormon church of having to earn love.
Fuck. What the fuck?
But that has affected my life forever, for the rest of my life. Of if I try a little harder, if I do a little bit more, maybe they'll love me, maybe they'll accept me, maybe they'll whatever.
I'm so sorry, Jesse.
In this case, it was really extreme, where the abuse was so extreme. But then if you would bear it, then you would get these moments of immense reward from her. And it's just such a psychological fuckery. And I was scared of myself. People were scared of me. My family,
So it's like this very sick cycle of
I just don't get it. They aren't a threat at all. Like, they just want to be themselves. Oh my gosh.
abuse.
Holy
But emotionally,
shit.
Jesse says they thought about jumping from the balcony to break their legs because they felt like that would be less painful than the torture. Even going to jail, if they're so bad, just call the police. They would ask Jodi, just like, let them arrest me, please. If I'm that bad, let them arrest me. Jesse says, I would rather be in jail. And the isolation was the worst part. Jodi would tell everyone that Jesse is a nightmare, a terrifying nightmare. Jodi told family members the reason that she has Jesse sleep out on the balcony is because, quote, I'm scared. I'm scared Jesse is going to murder me in my sleep.
Yeah, well, there's reasons as to why they would do that. But I forgot that nobody says why, so nobody asks her, why are you afraid of Jesse?
don't know. She's going around saying, you don't know what I'm dealing with. I have to do this for my own protection. The worst part is Jesse believed it. They believed maybe she's right. Maybe I just don't see it because I'm young and I'm not connected to God, I guess. But like, why am I so evil? Why is everyone so scared of me?
What about Jesse's parents?
Believed it, that they're evil.
Does Jesse have resentment towards the parents? Or?
Yes, I believe right now Jesse is no longer in communication with their parents. I think even some of their siblings had reactions of like, get over yourself when Jesse spoke about the trauma that happened when they were with Jodi.
What the fuck?
Jesse says, again, I believed all of this. I trusted these people. I trusted the church. The isolation got really bad. It's like Jodi is just practicing on Jesse before she evolves into trying to throw Adam Paul Steed into prison to isolate him. Jesse constantly had duct tape on their mouth, and they were told, because you're a liar, every single word you say is a lie. You need to be physically reminded that everything you say is a lie. Sometimes Jodi would make them go to family functions with duct tape on their mouth. So people are seeing this. Jesse says, everyone around me, my cousins, my parents, everyone was terrified of me. I wasn't allowed to speak to anyone. I wasn't allowed to speak to my parents.
Why are y'all afraid of them? Like, I don't, what? Y'all got no. First of all, if y'all so fucking afraid of them, why are you just letting Jodi just be there with them by herself? I am afraid they're going to kill me, so I make them sleep outside in the snow, but bring them back in the house.
Which, it's not even the fact that they had duct tape on their mouths and can't physically talk. It's the fact that nobody thought this was crazy. And I'm sure if you have duct tape on your mouth and your family members are acting scared of you, it almost makes you feel like some sort of animal.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you feel human anymore. It's so bizarre. I mean, it gets to the point where Jodi is convinced that Jesse is contagious, rubbing off evil onto everyone around them. If Jesse is in the kitchen, because Jodi is making them do something for her, if Jodi's kids, Jodi has 2 kids. Jodi's got 2 kids. Oh yeah, they're no longer on speaking terms with her. They're adults by the time that she gets arrested.
How'd she get them kids? So you mean to tell me
But more on that later. But if they go into the room, these are Jesse's own cousins. If they want to use the kitchen, they would have to report to their mother that Jesse is in the kitchen, and then Jodi screams at Jesse to get the hell out of the kitchen. And Jesse would be forced to stand on the perimeter of the kitchen with duct tape on their mouth, just waiting for them to be done.
They treating them like they Cinderella. What the fuck?
See, no one loves you. You're a manipulator, and you destroy people's lives constantly. You destroyed your parents' lives. You're destroying your own life, and you're trying to destroy mine for trying to help you.
What?
Jodi would tell Jesse, no one actually cares about you, and you just manipulate them into caring. Nobody believed Jesse, not even their own parents. Jesse says, she destroyed my credibility. I mean, I was an angry teenager, and now she made me into this emotional, angry teenager that she had told people that I destroyed my family's life, that I destroyed my dad's life, and that every person I come in contact with, I destroy. So she sets up the premise, and then when I come forward and I try to tell people what's happening, what she's doing to me, she can be like, oh, see, Jesse's trying to destroy my life. That's what they do. It's all just... It adds up.
Bro.
So she's so good at protecting these loopholes and discrediting people. Eventually, Jesse manages to run away without getting caught. They go straight to the police station where they lie about their age and get taken to a shelter for those without homes. They say that was rough too. It was traumatizing, but it was still better than being with Jodi. Now, a big question everybody has, though, is why the hell is Jodi Hildebrandt so goddamn angry? Like, it doesn't make sense. Why is she so upset with everyone? Why is she so angry? Why is she such a vile
bitch?
person? Maybe this. Jesse remembers one very interesting conversation they had with Jodi, because Jodi makes it her entire life mission to make sure that Jesse is not gay. But they stayed. She did say something to me when I was living with her. That was very strange, because I've known I was queer since I was 7, and I was experimenting with girls and friends since I was 7 or 8.
Okay.
She knew about it, and that it was very bad. It was very, very evil. But then she said something to me. She had this friend, her name's Bev. She said something to the effect of, yes, being gay is evil and pleasures of the flesh and yada yada. But if I were to have sexual relationships with my friends, if we were to, it would be different because there's a deep emotional connection there, and that's different. We were sitting in someone's living room and she said this, and I was just like, what? Yeah, that's called being gay. Like, what do you think gay relationships are like? They have deep emotional connections.
Jesse was taken back by Jodi's comment of saying that, oh, if I were to have a relation with another woman,
it's fine.
It's because we have this connection.
Yes. And Jesse is like, that's literally called being gay.
So Jesse believes that Jodi is gay as well.
Yes. Now, there's a lot of quizzes online with names like Am I Gay quiz. They're all like fun, goofy. They ask what's your favorite Beyonce song, what you order at the bar. It's goofy, it's playful, don't take it too seriously. But to therapist Jodi Hildebrandt, it's not funny. It's not funny. This is not cute. As the world's worst life coach, Jodi will give advice to viewers who submit their life worries to Jodi. In one particular clip, she's responding to a viewer who states that she's going through her 13-year-old daughter's phone, comes across her search history where she's talking about taking a quiz. It's called the Am I Gay quiz.
Okay.
Jodi explains, there is no such thing as Am I Gay?
And so because we all have the gift of choice, there is no such thing as Am I Gay? Because that takes choice away. It says I am something, period, the end. Like I didn't have choice in it. It just is.
What?
And so that on its face is a lie. It's not the truth. It's a distortion. So here's the core principle that this mom needs to understand. So mom, the truth is that your daughter is a daughter of God, period, the end. She's not, I am bad, or I am fat, or I am unloved, or I am gay. All those things are lies. All of them.
Yo.
It's just like the collection of words she uses there is also unhinged.
Yeah,
all these things are lies. All of them. It's a choice. I know that people get crucified when you say that to the world, but that is the truth. Being gay is a choice. It's
What?
about protecting her. You are a mother. Your job is to protect your young. If there was a lion coming at your young, you would stand in between and you put the baby behind you and you would defend that child with everything you have. Well, that's what's coming at you. It is worse than a lion. It is here to snuff out the life of your child and kill her spiritually.
Hey, I'd like to ask this question. If Jodi is trying to tell people that being gay is a choice and her niece is gay, but it's okay if Jodi does it because it's a deep love connection, that means Jodi is making that choice too, right? And she needs to be tortured, right? Because that will only keep the teachings pure, right? Or they just say fuck it because Jodi is the one that's doing that and she made the choice. So that means she is above the teach. Like, what the fuck? What is going on? Not only is Jodi a fucking idiot, she's also a hypocrite.
What is?
Being gay. So lesbians, you heard it here first. Your aura is stronger than a lion. Yeah, Jodi continues. I heard a song the other day called We'll Convert Your Children, We'll Convert Your Children, and it was a song about homosexuality.
Okay, so the thing that's throwing me off is like, why are people so mad? Why are people so fucking visceral against gay people? But then again, let the men and women, let the men let the men do things to little boys. This makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. Like, what?
And how they're coming for your children. It was the most evil thing I've heard. Which, side note, the entire song is tongue-in-cheek. They're singing about converting your children, that phrase, because it has always been, and still to this day, is used against the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
The only people that I've seen take that song seriously are both homophobic and dense up here. That's it. In another video, Jodi sarcastically says,
LGBTQ. And I think there's an I now. Plus. Okay, it's another of these movements that are going on in our world that is divisive.
I'm not gonna hold you. If you think there's like 9+ billion people in this world and you think all of them are straight, you're a fucking idiot. Or think that all of them should be straight, you're fucking stupid. You're dumb. Like, you're just dumb. Like, having the teachings of wanting the world to be heterosexual is fucking dumb. It's dumb as shit. It's really stupid. Like, why is that such a big thing? Like, I don't understand. Leave these people alone. Why do they keep attacking? Like, I don't understand, bro.
I mean, I work with 3 people every day, and not every day, but probably once a week, somebody says a word like
Cisgender was the last word I learned. I'm like, what in the heck is that?
is a definition like them stupid ass words you be using. Shit, it took me some time to actually like understand like what's going on, you know, like cis het, that stuff. It's like, okay, like learn the word. You ain't have to be like, oh, this the other word of that. But then you start saying shit like swag and all this other dumb shit like Riz. Oh, Riz. I would have used this Riz. Oh, I know how to twerk. But cisgender is something that you just have a prop.
It's just a made up word that someone placed meaning on. Because of what happened with Adam Paul Steed, Jodi actually does get her therapy license suspended briefly. That's the only negative thing that comes out to what she's done to Adam. Ruin his life completely, shatter and disassemble his entire family and re-traumatize him. She just gets her therapy license suspended.
That is crazy.
On probation for like 18 months. So she starts this new life as a life coaching business. Everything gets more extreme in her beliefs. The coaching business is called Connections, and she preaches about living in truth. And it's a lot more extreme than when she was a therapist, because when you're in therapy, you are still governed by certain guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
But as a life coach, there's no governance.
Oh, so she got suspended and now she's a life coach, which
Yes, a counselor.
she can do whatever the hell she wants now.
Yeah. They call themselves mental fitness trainers. They say like how you would need a fitness trainer for your body, your physical body, you need one for your mental state. And it's all about living in the truth with a capital T. Living in truth and not distortion means having impeccable honesty, rigorous personal responsibility, and humility.
What are these people? Who do these people vote for? Because I be hearing that truth word. It's a bunch of truth stuff. And it's feeling very Trumpy. What is?
Which, I mean, those are like really vague words. I feel like you could apply that to anything.
Yeah.
Whereas living in distortion means you are addicted to something. That something could be as serious as drugs and alcohol, but it could also be hobbies, entertainment.
So Jodi's addicted to power. And she's addicted to the word addiction.
Receiving compliments, you could be addicted to that. You could be addicted to mirrors. You could be addicted to driving, going on drives. I don't know if, I don't know where that came from. You are also living in distortion when you know that you are not enough. Which, by the way, Jodi Hildebrandt has a memoir that she titled, You Are Not Enough. Bro. And everyone's like, I keep reading it as You Are Not Enough. Which, like, yes, Jodi, you are not. They also say that you are living in distortion when you are living in lust, which includes being sexually attracted to your own spouse. That's living in lust. So these principles get built upon through the years, and they actually do get worse as they develop. If Jodi was not against drugs, I would think that she developed her ideas while super high on some random couch and elbow deep into a Pringles can, because her ideas of...
You think she's smoking weed thinking of this shit? This ain't no weed. This ain't no weed. And no weed at all. This ain't no weed.
Truth and distortion. These cannot be sober thoughts. I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. We can only assume that the idea of formulating a coherent thought is too big of an obstacle course for Jodi because it doesn't make sense.
Yo.
The principles are, truth is always loving. Distortion is never loving. Control is never loving. So remember, if you really want to love someone, you'll reflect truth to them.
The truth is not always loving. Jodi's literally going against like actual like teachings and stuff like that, where people can kind of do a Google search and realize like this is just straight bullshit. Why are people listening to this person?
If you love someone, you can be yourself around them and you don't have to tiptoe around what you're saying. When you love someone, you hold boundaries with them and your boundaries won't offend them. Anyone who is offended by a boundary is in distortion. Anyone who is offended by a boundary is someone who is being selfish and wants what they want. So with these principles of honest, responsible, and humble, you will have calmness, permission, peace, and a willingness to hold boundaries for you and your child.
Yeah.
Who needs a lobotomy when you have Jodi Hildebrandt's great teachings? I think fortune cookies make more sense and are less vague than her so-called teachings. She would also hit couples with the, Jesus said, having the thought is the same as actually doing it. So if you think about your hot coworker, you actually did your hot coworker.
What? Wait, what?
One therapist who was training
What?
under Jodi says she was...
That doesn't make any fucking sense. thinking about something is actually doing it. No, I just think my coworker is beautiful. That's that. That's not saying I think she's beautiful, I want to fuck her. No, it's just I think she's beautiful.
Excellent in exploiting Mormon anxiety, being pure, being sinless, being perfect. But Connections was more than just therapy. It was a whole community that she created, a whole platform of people drinking her Kool-Aid. It was like a church within a church, and Jodi was the prophet. That person also didn't like the way that Jodi would treat clients entirely differently according to their status. He says, a client would come in who was well-known and had a lot of money, and she would say to me, we really got to take care of this one. And I thought, that's odd. So this was when Jodi was a therapist. And he would say, like, we're therapists. We're trained not to care about if that person has money. I think she was just salivating. She was salivating about money and power. Like, that excited her. What can I do with a client with a lot of money, influence, and a lot of power? Jodi was a businesswoman. I mean,
she really has a lot of addictions, huh?
Yeah. She knew
crazy,
how to
right?
hit on a pain point, and the biggest pain point for people in order to turn a profit. Jessie says, this is the crazy thinking about it now, but I used to do her billing. So Jessie is Jodi's niece, remember? And they say, I used to do her billing. She would force me to do it, like free labor. Jodi's billing for the therapy session, Jessie says, I did her billing and she bills the LDS church. So every client, essentially, I would say the vast majority of her clients were from bishop recommendations, just based off the billing that I would do.
Wow.
So the host of Mormon Stories mentions, in the Mormon church, if somebody can't afford a therapist, sometimes tithes and offerings might be used by the bishop who recommends his ward members to Jodi.
Wow.
He will then foot the bill from the church offerings, pay Jodi. She's making money off the church, allegedly, right? But they pay the bill. Now, here's the problem with that. One, Jodi is gaining a lot of wealth and success from the church itself. And two, a lot of victims have come forward to state that another insidious way that Jodi ruins people's lives is once your bishop pays for your therapy, they are entitled to all therapy notes.
What?
There's no such thing. Like, you usually have to sign things that say my bishop can also know what I talk about in therapy. So it's this, Jodi will alienate you from your bishop, accuse you of doing some heinous things allegedly.
That's
is the
crazy.
allegation against Jodi. I mean, multiple allegations against Jodi. Even when Jessie's physical state started changing because of the physical torture that their aunt was putting them through, I mean, a lot of people at the church could see them in this mental and emotional anguish. People start going to the bishop about them, and the bishop then turns to Jodi, gives Jodi a full rundown, like, these are what people are saying about Jessie. Jessie says, Bishop went to Jodi, told her, gave her the names of the people, what they said, the reason why these people thought anything was wrong with me. And according to Jodi, it was because I was emotionally manipulating them into thinking that I would go to church, wear a long face, and manipulate them into feeling sorry for me.
Bruh.
Jodi would facilitate meetings with the bishop and with Jessie to tell them, no, tell them, Jessie, nothing is wrong, right? Jodi's great. Which is already highly unethical. Okay, side note, already unethical. If you are a therapist, every single therapist, at least the ones that should be licensed anyway, they say if their family member, a niece, a cousin 5 times removed, doesn't matter, they would never be their therapist. They would recommend someone, that's it. You do not become the therapist for your niece. And not only that, but you don't have them move in with you. And since, Jodi is in competition for the worst person alive and just bring the gold home, Jodi would facilitate meetings with herself, Jessie, and Jessie's bishop. And the church leader, the bishop, would tell Jessie, you're like a horse.
What?
You got to be broken in. Jessie says, we drove to all the people's homes, all the church members that were concerned for me.
Bruh, I am not a horse. I'm just Jessie. What the fuck?
And
All
Jodi
these
sat me in the car.
words,
She told
bro.
me exactly what I was going to tell these people. And I would go in and
gosh.
apologize to them for manipulating them into thinking that Jodi was doing something wrong to me when she was actually saving my life. Jessie says, also, Jodi hates men. She hates men.
Wow.
She thinks all men are pretty much, vast majority of men are evil, including church leaders. She thought church leaders were idiots. And she had the answer and that she understood it. She thought she was fighting tooth and nail on the front lines of Satan. But somehow there are still people that believe Jodi is the all-knowing oracle to the truth. One review reads, Jodi's one-on-one calls and the group classes have been life-changing for our family. Years of false beliefs were surfaced in weeks, what years of therapy failed to do. I will say, anyone who believes Jodi's tactics are questionable are simply not ready to take responsibility for their choices.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. You ain't done half the what do they call shadow work that I've done for myself. Shut up. I don't need Jodi to tell me to fight my demons, bitch. Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? Shut up. Shut up. You signed with this demon.
5 stars for Jodi Hildebrandt.
5
Review
stars.
left by Ruby Franke. 18-year-old Ruby is not looking for a degree, which seems counterintuitive because
I'ma wait.
she is a student at Utah State University. But where else are you supposed to find the love of your life who is going to be athletic, handsome, smell good, comfortable to talk to, well-groomed, not skinny, 5 inches taller than Ruby, doesn't have anger issues, is not snappy, is not snooty, is good with music and teaching, wears khakis and collared shirts, Eagle Scout,
Kevin?
is good with siblings, likes yard work, prays daily, reads scriptures daily, wants
Oh
6
my
kids,
gosh.
willing to help kids with homework, and is crazy about me. That is her list of what she's looking for in her future husband. And she's looking right now. 18 years old, in college, looking for a husband.
How do we know that?
Her prerequisites, she has a whole graph of it labeled and detailed on a poster board that's hung in the back of her closet.
Hey, I don't know about people that like have these type of like prerequisites, and I'm not somebody to like, you know, downplay your prerequisites. But like, why? Why do you have like all these prerequisites? My question to those people that do that, like, are there like any room for error? Like, do they have to have all of those, or can they just have like the big ones, and then you worry about the other ones? Like that, I've never had nothing like this. If you had something like this, I'm not gonna say tell your prerequisites because, you know, it's your business. But like, I get that those are your standards, but do you stand on those standards? Only just those standards? Like, I don't know. I don't know, dude. It also I don't know, like, doesn't that make it less fun? Cause like you still learn about people, and if they don't hit those prerequisites, and it's like, oh fuck you, get the fuck out of there. Like I don't know. I know having high standards is obviously like good, and you should have that. But shit, dude.
When she starts dating, she's going to go in and start writing the boys' names across and then coloring in the boxes. So if you're 5 inches taller, she'll color in that box. And then at the end, she's going to see who has the most colored boxes, and that's her future husband.
What?
Yeah. She's like efficient with her dating.
That is crazy.
Yeah. The boy that she's going to marry is going to check off the most.
What if they go to find out in the closet, like, oh, what the hell is it? Yo, what the hell is this? Oh.
And one of the contenders is Kevin Franke. It's not the most romantic meeting, but that's fine. She did not write love at first sight type of romance movie meeting on her chart. Ruby and Kevin Franke, they bump into each other at a hot dog stand on campus. And instantly, he's a good contender. He's laid back. Ruby likes that. She wants someone to join her in life.
Really?
Not run her life, not lead her in life.
Word.
She wants to drive the car. Which
So she wants to lead. Okay.
also, side note, a lot of netizens have been asking, 8 passengers, then who is driving?
Yeah.
And then a lot of netizens comment Jodi.
That's 7 passengers.
Interestingly, Kevin is just as interested in Ruby as she is in him, maybe more so. He was heartbroken when he realized that while watching a movie with Ruby, under the blanket, he was holding her hand. But when he looks under, there is another guy dating Ruby on the other side, also holding her hand.
Kevin, you a bitch.
What?
He's so pissed about it, but he becomes determined. And I don't know how he knew about Ruby's little graph of dating in the back of her closet. I don't know if he stumbles upon it by accident, but once he finds it, he's ready. He jots down every single thing on that list. And this is the new Kevin Franke. This is who he will be from this day forward. He says, I went home and I studied hard.
That's manipulation. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. That's not good. That's not good. So you change yourself to be that person when you're not that person. That's not good. Hell no. First off, one, you ain't got no self-respect, that you literally are just being seen as an option right in your fucking face. That's one. 3 strikes and you're out. You already hit 3. So we're at like, I don't know. You go and find her thing and then you study it to make sure that you are going to make it. That is some bitch ass shit. Be yourself. And 3, you let her run your whole family like the way she's doing it, and now you're in this position where you was crying you over here sitting like this, having a documentary like, I didn't think my kids were gonna get. Put some balls in your pants, boy. Like, damn. Have some self-respect for yourself. Hell no. Ugh. That must have been like your best looking woman or something. You ain't have no experience in that. You just do this weird ass shit, bro. Like, cause what is this? What is this? No self-respect whatsoever. Now you caught in this web of shit, and now you got Jodi in your damn house.
I studied that list harder than I did my schoolwork, I think. I was very insecure with who I was. I was willing to change to become somebody that somebody else would appreciate and love.
Nigga.
And it works.
Oh my gosh.
After 2 weeks of dating, this is like 2 weeks after meeting each other, they get engaged. And within 2 months of being engaged, they get married. And at just 21 years old, Ruby gives birth to their very first child.
Oh no.
New York Times bestselling author Sherry. Yeah. Get her book.
Hey.
1 down.
Shout out Sherry,
5 more
cuz.
to go.
Shout out Sherry, cuz.
6 kids total, and Ruby Franke is the type of mother who needs a scapegoat. She would be a perfect mom, right? Had it not been for this kid. Everything would have been perfect had it not been for this one.
Really?
A lot of narcissistic parents always find a scapegoat in the family, and it's usually a kid. Every other kid is good. Every other kid is well behaved in their eyes, except this kid. If something goes wrong, it's this kid.
Does the kid shift?
Yes.
What?
The kid, it seems like in the beginning it is Chad. And then once a lot of the older children move out, once Chad and Sherry move out and Kevin moves out, it'll be the youngest too.
Oh no.
Chad is the eldest son, the second born. And in part 1, we go over Ruby taking away his phone, his bedroom door, even sending him to a troubled teen wilderness camp for over a month. It seems like this was all done at the recommendation of Jodi, which Ruby meets Jodi through a friend who is telling Ruby, listen, if anyone can, quote, fix Chad, which by the way, Chad, and I don't think any of the Franke kids needed any sort of fixing. They just needed a mother who loved them and did not vlog all of their worst moments and put them online 5 days a week.
Yeah.
But she says, if anyone can, quote, fix Chad, it's going to be Jodi. Now, the first Zoom meeting between Chad, he remembers for some reason his parents were so nervous. Chad thought it was goofy. He's like, I'm just going to get through this Zoom meeting with this Jodi lady.
Okay. And
I'm going to be done with it.
Uh-huh.
They hop on Zoom.
Word.
Jodi says, Chad, it's really good to see you. Are you ready to start living an honest and responsible and humble lifestyle?
Was this before she started tripping after like that canceled thing? This was like, was this during the bed scandal? Cause I remember she was talking about Chad was the bed scandal, and then that's where everything fell apart, and then she just started talking about the truth and stuff like this. I'm assuming that this was around this because she was searching for this. So
Chad says, absolutely. Let's get started. I'm so ready to live a responsible life. You're lying, Chad.
All right.
Chad said he went silent because he's never had a therapist or whatever
You're lying.
call him out so directly.
You're
in front of
lying.
his parents. Like, you're lying about that.
You a liar.
It was just very aggressive. Chad looks over and he just knew that his mom is hooked from that moment forward. Jodi is not taking Chad's bullshit.
Is this like in the middle of their YouTube journey? Like
Yes.
they're already famous?
Already famous.
So do you think Jodi coming in already like, oh, I want these people as...
It seems like
I want to
it.
latch onto this
Yeah.
them because they're famous.
Like a
Famous,
parasite.
rich, influence, everything is perfect.
Okay, I knew it. She been there.
Now, after the Zoom call, Jodi reaches out to the Frankes and she tells them, look, your son Chad, he needs an outcome. He needs an outcome for the way that he showed up to that meeting. He's running circles around you guys. Immediately, they just start taking away everything. His phone, Xbox, no friends, Anasazi Wilderness Camp. He doesn't get a bedroom. Eventually, they take away football, which was... That was honestly Chad's... He was really good at football. really good. That he wanted to get a scholarship and just get out of there.
I knew it. Jodi was there this whole time. She was there this whole fucking time. Because why is she acting so fucking crazy? Why was she treating her kids like this? Why was she It was fucking Jodi. It was Jodi. Oh my gosh. Holy shit.
Chad says, my mom was trying everything in her power to fix me, but I never felt like she was doing it for me. It always felt like she was doing it for herself. At one point, my mom got kind of teary-eyed and she said, Chad, this is your last chance. Jodi and I found a military camp in Virginia and we are just waiting for one more time of you acting up. And if that happens, we're going to send you there until you're 18.
Bro, this was like a perfect storm. Like Ruby was doing this shit, screaming at the kids. And Jodi came in and boom. What? Oh my gosh. Dog. So pretty much Ruby was on this weird ass timing. And Jodi was like, "Oh yeah, I got you. Come here. Let's exemplify everything. Let's just push everything to the max. Let's just do that." Which is probably why she had the reason why she was like talking to people like, "Oh, you think I'm a bad mom? I'm gonna show you a bad mom." She had Jodi in her ear and all that.
Chad says, I don't know. I think I really just sensed something in my mom that realized that she's not going to let Jodi go. This is just how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be from now on. And I just decided to start listening.
And also with that nigga Kevin, about that thing about the trying to check off all the boxes and all that, he ain't want to have a family. He just wanted to be with Ruby. Because he was always taking her side and everything. Ugh. Patooey. No backbone. Bitch ass nigga.
Ruby's thought is, if this is going so well with Chad, why not Kevin? Maybe Kevin Franke, Ruby's husband, can benefit from some counseling. Kevin Franke works as a professor at BYU in the civil engineering department with a focus on geotechnical engineering, meaning he teaches how soil and rocks and earth materials interact with structures and buildings and infrastructure. It's a lot of work pertaining to the soil, so they're really well versed in fundamentally soil mechanics and just how rocks behave. So how certain soils respond to static and dynamic loads, how an earthquake can have the interactions between the infrastructure and the soil specifically in that region, and how they can learn to make the infrastructure better for the future.
Word.
It's a lot of smart stuff. It's indisputable that Kevin Franke is academically very intelligent, but in terms of teaching, some would argue he's not very good.
What?
His Rate My Professor rating is 30% would take again with a solid 2.2 out of 5. One review on Rate My Professor says, he's very rude and mean. He spoke down to students in a very condescending, disrespectful manner.
That's crazy.
I truly did not have a great experience in this class. It wasn't an insanely hard class. I take schoolwork very seriously and I've never had issues with a professor before Professor Franke.
Wow.
Hard professors are one thing, but downright rude, dismissive, and arrogant is another. Save yourself the misery if you can and take something else with someone else. Another just reads, weird dude. Interestingly enough, another reads, unable to get in contact outside of class. He's very controlling, and you can only have the same views that he has or you will be looked down upon.
Really?
Caused me so much stress that I dropped out.
Really?
Which we talked about this briefly in part 1, but Kevin does not appear to be involved in his family life. One would assume that perhaps he was using all his energy at work, but a lot of the students say he was impossible to get in contact with outside of class.
So what the fuck was he doing? Was he having a Pam? Oh my gosh, Pam!
So if he's not working, he's not with his family, what is he doing? Another rating reads, Professor Franke was rude from day one. He does not respect his students at all. He was always in a bad mood and made class miserable. He would make horrible homophobic remarks and make us students feel incompetent. His classroom felt hostile and like a prison. I hate it there. Kevin says he started taking connections classes with Ruby, group sessions.
Really?
Actually, the first time he went was a full seminar. Like, you know, a whole workshop. It's like one of those hotel conference rooms that you book out. Jodi's hosting it. Jodi's up on the stage, and the whole workshop is love versus lust. Jodi would say, love is giving. It's honest. Lust is about taking. It's about greed. It's about control, and you can lust over anything.
Really?
If a man says he doesn't lust, he's lying. Many of them are lusting. Whether they're lusting sexually, they're being selfish. So we have a huge problem, okay?
What?
That's what Jodi's saying.
I guess.
Kevin leans in, looks over at his wife, Ruby. He's about to roll his eyes when he looks and sees that Ruby and every other person in this entire hotel conference room is laser focused.
Really?
They're like on the edge of their seats. He whispers to Ruby, "This feels like a cult, like a man-hating club." Kevin says the experience was very confusing. This is a bunch of man-hating women that are just looking for excuses to tear down their husbands.
I mean, why are you there? If you're in a spot where you think that it's a man-hating club, why the fuck are you there? Grow a set of nuts. Grow a set of balls. Obviously, if you feel like it's different and you feel weird about it, get the fuck up and go. Get your wife, get the fuck up and go. And if she doesn't want to go, leave her there and then go on from there. I'm not about to sit in a place where people say they hate me so much. Like, what the fuck? I'm not doing that.
And I mean, that's what it felt like to me in there. But it's confusing because there were a lot of people that I respected, a lot of people that were on that stage with microphones in hand giving testimonials of how great this was and how it changed their lives and their marriage.
Oh, cool. Just because other people say it changed their marriage doesn't mean shit about your marriage, dude. Oh my gosh, all the recommendations. Oh my gosh, dude.
The seminar does come at a very vulnerable time. He says, "To be honest, we were pretty lost, and Ruby believed this was the roadmap back to the place that we both wanted to go. So after the seminar, she sat me down and she said, 'I'm concerned about our marriage, and I'd like to invite you to join a Connections men's group,' which is a group of men that meet up on Zoom every week with Jodi so she can berate them about how they're ruining their lives if they ever place their eyeballs on a nude photo of a woman. In the beginning, at least, Kevin and Ruby get sucked.
My question is, does Jodi not have any teachings of saying like, hey, you should take care of your wife. You should honor what she speaks about. Honor her as a person. Don't see her as an object. Do the things that she says. Pick up after yourself. Take the trash out when you say you're going to take the trash out. Be a fucking man. Take care of the kids. Do this, that, and the third. But no, she just says like, if you look at titties, you are bad. Titties, bad. No titties for you that aren't your wife's titties, but don't like your wife's titties too much. All titties bad."
In. He says, "We both felt like there was purpose again. Even the kids felt a change. Ruby was happier. She never shouted anymore. We were really happy, like a happy family again." Clearly, very quickly, Kevin gets very into Connections. There are clips of Kevin Franke giving advice to other parents in the Connections groups. He's sitting there right next to Ruby saying things like, "There's so many culturalisms today that are just being promoted and celebrated and taught from the highest towers in every part of the land that it's my job to make kids happy. It's my job to give my kids a magical childhood. It's my job to make my children smile and laugh. And it's
So this motherfucker lying. He just lying out of his teeth.
It's my job to make my children successful." No.
What?
Sherry remembers in her book, that's exactly what Ruby does. Ruby does not have time or patience for a child that wants to be happy or is even sick. So now Kevin's like buying into all of this.
What?
He's like, discipline. It's not my job to make sure that my children are emotionally stable. In the beginning, Ruby and Kevin are the stars of the new group sessions that Jodi is hosting. They become the teacher's pets, if you will, and everyone would do well to learn from them. Many victims have come forward to say that Jodi is very meticulous about how she tortures people in these group counseling sessions. You could be in a group setting with all these husbands, but if you ever admit that you have been self-pleasuring, they will pair you up with an accountability buddy.
Bro.
This is a non-mental health professional that you have to text 3 times a day at the very least. Anytime you want to self-pleasure or do anything that you shouldn't be doing, even if you just briefly thought about it for 2 seconds, you have to tell your accountability buddy.
So I gotta tell my accountability buddy that I feel like beating my meat right now. If we're getting, I can't even say what I'm about to say. Like, I don't understand. Is this men's group like have like men teachers too, or is Jodi just saying this stuff? Like, because I would imagine that a women's group would be ran by a woman because she's a woman and she has the experience of a woman. Like, this is there's no way she's bouncing back and forth, right? I haven't really heard too much about a women's group. Actually, this was probably like, I don't know, bro. Like, this is, I don't know.
They take a full log. They're like an accountant, Excel spreadsheet this. And then there's these confessional meetings where you meet up with your wife and Jodi and you have to confess everything to her. And if you maybe don't mention one thing on that list, the accountability buddy will rat you out. And then everyone in the group pressures the wife to punish the offending spouse in some way.
This is
Other
weird.
victims who have come forward state that Jodi encourages the wife to punish husbands by kicking them out of the bedroom. No hugging, no kissing, no talking, no nothing, no intimacy or even personal connection for months at a time, all for the unforgivable crime of self-pleasure.
Does Jodi have a husband?
She did briefly an ex-husband for 2 years. And it was apparently a very messy divorce. Now, Jodi would use that where the husband is now going through months of isolation. And it's almost like she's waiting for the husband to self-pleasure again and have a relapse. That's when she pushes the wife to kick him fully out of the house and start initiating a divorce.
Nigga get a divorce because he was beating his meat. And that's it? That's it?
Aside from that, the group sessions are just group bullying sessions. Kevin says, if Jodi piles on somebody, they all pile on. If Jodi praises somebody, they all praise. And
That's
so
some
it really
bitch-ass
felt like
shit.
a pack of dogs. And Jodi was the alpha. And whoever she sticks the dogs on, they would go. Whoever she praised, you know, the dogs would just lick them up and down. And that's just how these groups went.
Well, at least it's not like much misogyny here, right? So that's a step in the right direction, right? You know? Like, because I'm pretty sure if there was like a men's group and they were all misogynist, they probably would not want Jodi to be the ringleader of all this shit. So, slightly progressive, but we're taking a couple steps back. All right.
The revenue from these group counseling sessions alone is estimated to be, on the conservative side, have brought in Jodi about $30,000 a month. Now, Kevin would start helping to lead these sessions. Yeah, he was very involved at this point. He would talk about how he was addicted to all sorts of things, sports, his phone, work, and how he always just made his wife feel like she had to hold the house down. And it was this whole conversation he's like leading and teaching. And it seems like the only
But didn't she want to be a stay-at-home mom? Isn't that what she wanted?
one in the entire Franke household that's really concerned, that's not a full-fledged child that's getting concerned about this, is Sherry. She's very suspicious of Jodi. Something
thank
about
you.
Jodi
Finally.
is cold, not maternal, but in the worst way possible. It's like the absence of any maternal energy.
Right.
Sherry starts looking into who exactly Jodi Hildebrandt is, and she seems like a grifter. Honestly, like a con woman.
Finally, somebody looking into this demon. Finally. Goodness gracious.
On her website, there's packages that you can purchase. Leadership training, 6-week program, 1 person, $800. Team leadership program,
$800.
$5,000. Company
Damn.
leadership training, $15,000.
Damn.
Jodi learns the reason that Jodi switched from therapy to full-blown counseling and life coaching is because, yes, there's more money, but also she's on probation. Her license was suspended. At this point, Adam Paul Steed's story was not fully out, so it just was like Jodi was disclosing patient information to the honor code at BYU. It wasn't the level that we know today. Even the way Jodi responds to criticism is alarming. In one video, Jodi demands people leave her better reviews. She starts ranting.
It's confusing to me. It's like you guys like what you're getting from us, and we're saying, hey, can you please help?
She looked like she be spitting into the camera when she talks.
Can you please take 5 minutes and hit a button and go give us a 5-star review? Please? I don't understand why you won't do it. There is a link underneath every single video.
I think we've had 5 people from the last time I asked, which is probably a month ago. 5 out of almost 9,000, 5 people to give us a review. That's 5. And we've had probably 50 to 75 people give us 1-star reviews. So we started with a 5, and in 3 months, we're down to like a 2. There is a link underneath every single video that says, give us a review. Click it and give us a 5-star review, please. I don't understand why you won't do it.
The fuck? My gosh.
Even if you put all of this to the side, Sherry is noticing how extreme things are getting in the house. Jodi would say extreme things like, it's extreme, but it has to be because we're surgically removing the sin. We're surgically removing the sin from your souls.
Jodi, I haven't eaten a well-eaten meal in I don't even know when. Can we remove the hunger from this house first before we start removing sin? Please.
May 2021, Jodi calls Ruby freaking out. She's wailing and sobbing into the phone. This is Jodi, the life coach extraordinaire, crying to her client.
This
she tells
music.
Ruby that it's happening. It's time.
What?
The second coming, doomsday.
What?
The apocalypse. The shadow figures are coming for her. They're haunting her. They just surround her at night, all around the bed. Jodi knows Satan is behind this. He has it out for her. He's the one sending them. We talked about this in part 1, but Ruby and Kevin were prepared for doomsday, the second coming. Kevin says, because we were in that state of mind where we were ready for something big to happen, we were expecting it, we just weren't expecting this. So to them, this sounds incredibly rational, level-headed. Yes, of course, Satan Daddy is sending you demons at night. So they go to Jodi's house to be with her while she goes through these demonic possessions to give her support. So for months, the church bishop would come to help Jodi, I guess, with exorcisms, but nothing's working.
The joints keep coming back? You need like an exorcism plan or something? Is it like a 12-step program? Y'all keep skipping step 9? Like why are the demons still coming back?
Bishop even suggests maybe the demons are attached to your $5 million house. Maybe you gotta leave. Which means maybe Jodi can stay with you, Ruby. Live with you and the rest of the Franke kids until she's better.
Get this bitch out of the house.
Move into the Franke household.
Now get this, don't get it between no household. None of that. This is
Kevin says, I was like, oh, hell no. I don't want this in my house. But I was beaten over the head with it.
Really?
That's really insensitive. She's done so much to help our family.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit.
You're being selfish. She needs it, and come on, and it won't be for long. And so I relented, and I was like, okay, actually, this could be kind of fun. Let's make it fun.
Let's make it fun. Now you got demons running around the house where your little boy is trying to run over to a old man house, trying to get some fucking food. He almost about to die. This is not good. No, this isn't very masculine of you, Kevin. Kevin, you suck. You suck.
And she needs a vacation, so we'll just do all of this. And it turned
She needs to vacate the premises.
Into the moment she showed up at my house, which was just the weirdest crap started happening. He says,
so the church leader told Jodi to live with Franke?
well, it was more so, I don't know how to help you. Maybe the demons are in your house. I gotta go.
Oh, so Ruby just took her in.
Yeah, Jodi and Ruby were like, oh, let's go to Ruby's house.
Okay.
Now, Kevin says out of nowhere, the lights would turn on and off. It sounds like people were walking inside the walls. You could feel there's spirits floating around. Kevin says he hated it, that it was weird. But he probably didn't hate it as much as Sherry hated it. She just remembers her mom calling her. You have a couple of hours to take whatever you need out of your room, and Jodi's moving in.
Never in my life. I don't give a fuck. You are not taking the kid's room. Who? What? No. You're not gonna take the kids' rooms so you can just start doing your nasty stuff.
You're moving out in 2 weeks already to go to college, so I figured you only have to deal with it for 2 weeks, so it should be fine.
Oh.
Sherry says it was fine, but I thought it was weird that a therapist would move in with her patients.
Exactly.
But it gets worse. Sherry writes in her journal at the time, the house's spirits feel weird with Jodi here. Something's going on between her and my parents that we don't know about, and the whole thing is super secretive. I'm trying to spend as much time out of the house as I can.
This is the desert house?
No, this is the Franke house.
Another?
Oh, the desert house is not Franke house.
You didn't even get the desert house yet?
No, that's Jodi's house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is like their family home that they've been vlogging in.
Okay.
Oh.
Now, Jodi is still suffering from her demonic possessions, her trances. Both Ruby and Kevin are trying to help her through it, but eventually Jodi starts responding best to Ruby. Ruby even volunteers to stay in Jodi's room overnight, which is her daughter Sherry's room, to comfort Jodi because the demon spirits get more active at night. They start sleeping in the same bed. Ruby tells Kevin, you know what, I'm just going to start sleeping in there. And if I need you, I'll come down and get you. And
No, the fuck you not. Excuse me.
maybe if I'm in the room with Jodi, these things will leave her alone. Kevin.
See, I'm not even going to lie to you, bro. Maybe I'm ignorant, but I would think something going on in there. Because what do you mean the spirits get active overnight? What are you talking about? What? Is y'all doing something in there? Like, I'm not... Y'all not about to just be being secretive around here. Like, what is going on? The spirits are getting active at night, boy. If I'm hearing some pounding, they ain't no damn spirit. Them not spirits getting active. It's you two getting active. Can we like come outside and watch a movie together or something? Like,
says, I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. That is when they started sleeping in the same bed.
bro.
Kevin says that's also when, quote, Ruby started having like trances and stuff. I would say it was probably around that time that she believed she was going to heaven and seeing God and Jesus talking with them. They would stay locked in that room for 4 to 5 hours, and then they would come out all on cloud 9, and Ruby would say things like, she just had this amazing vision. We're all bringing all this stuff into the world. We're doing God's work.
What?
Yeah. Kevin says, I don't know the extent to which their interactions went, but it was much more than a friendship, much more than a sisterhood. It was uncomfortably intimate. Sherry says, I never remembered her being that sympathetic towards me when I was having similar issues, aka nightmares as a kid, but I guess this was different with Jodi. Also, Sherry says, Ruby and Jodi would stay upstairs all day, and they would rarely leave the house unless they were going to Dairy Queen. Their diets were a cardiologist's nightmare, just sugar and ranch dressing.
Ew.
So after moving out for college, there's this
Good
very
Lord.
strange incident where Sherry has to go back home to get a few things from her room. She says, I pushed the door to my bedroom and I looked around confused. The room was bathed in the soft glow of candles. The air was heavy with the scent of lavender and vanilla wafting from the massage oils in the dresser. I quickly grabbed what I needed and got the hell out of there, feeling like I just walked into someone else's honeymoon suite. The only thing missing was rose petals on the bed.
That is crazy.
Sherry says the whole thing was made weirder by the fact that that night, Sherry's sleeping on the couch. She can't fall asleep. It's like 5 a.m. She hears something, and she writes in her book, quote, I cracked one eye open just in time to see Ruby tiptoeing out of my room, her hair messy.
Y'all was getting down with this lady, and your kids is at home, and your husband, you getting down with this lady in the house. Yo.
Her cheeks flushed and her robe hastily tied, heading back to the bedroom she shared with my dad, a strange smile on her face. She looked mischievous. What the hell was going on? Why was Ruby sneaking around in the middle of the night like a teenager, trying not to get caught by her parents? Were they really doing candlelit massages in my bedroom?
No, they was doing some candlelit something else. Did it stink in that room? Did it smell weird? They don't look like the type of people to open a window. So did it stink in there?
How could all of this be happening with all of us in the house?
In the house. No
She
shame.
continues, it was equal parts fascinating and horrific.
Okay, so either this is what I'd like to say. Either they doing little things in there, and that's why she getting these visions, or she's like literally possessing her or something. I don't.
2 women who preached, quote, truth while living lies, who condemned queerness very publicly in their connections videos while embodying it privately in my room, on my bed, most
Nasty.
likely.
On my bed. Oh my gosh.
Later, Sherry will find notes in Ruby's computer detailing how frustrated Ruby was about having to cater to Jodi's needs for physical affection without getting anything in return.
So you was doing all this and you wasn't getting nothing back? You know what she sounds like to me? The type of man that she hates.
Which is a lot going on, but at the time, all Sherry is most concerned about is her family's safety. Sherry starts Googling, is my family in a cult? This is where I leave you with part 2.
Okay.
And stay tuned for part 3 and part 4. So
All right.
part 3, we're going to go over if people could have seen more warning signs. Because up until the day of the arrest, they're still posting podcast episodes, like 30-minute podcast episodes. And some of what they're teaching kind of lines up to what they're journaling about the torture that was taking place. And then in part 4, we go through the arrest. Stay tuned. Let me know
Okay.
in the comments, what are your thoughts? Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.
Okay. See, this is where we at now. All right, bet. As I said before, Jodi was there way before Jodi was there, and Jodi got herself into the thing, and Ruby is just a weird woman and very abusive, and them two was just a perfect storm. It was just a perfect storm. Thank goodness Sherry was able to get out of there and come back, and thank goodness that her eye was open to see her mom be a freaky motherfucker. And fuck Kevin. That's still fuck Kevin. I already knew Jodi was that. It's fuck Jodi. Now it's fuck Kevin. Now we on Kevin now. It's been fuck Ruby, fuck Jodi. Now it's fuck Kevin. This is one of This is sick. This is sick. And you let that woman in the house. You let her in the house, bruh. In your house. I thought it was the $5 million Utah house that was bought. Whew, shit. Okay. This is a lot. This is a lot. What do you guys think? Was I tripping at all in this video? Please let me know, because this is a lot.